Arrowhead Chiefs.
It's your girl, Miss Nicole. Queen of Hustle, baby.
Started from the bottom, now we here. My homie at the start of his career.
Let's go.
Try to warn him early, hear the truth. Tune in every Sunday for the juice. Arrowhead Chief Podcast, bringing all the news. If you missed the play, come back for reviews. Chris style, out here rapping for the crew. Post game highlights, go subscribe on YouTube. If you missed the play, come back for reviews. Post game highlights, go subscribe on YouTube.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? You are tuned in to the Arrowhead Chief Podcast, episode 261. Hope everybody's having a good day, whatever you're doing. You're at home, you're at work. We appreciate y'all tapping into the live stream. You're listening on the playback. We appreciate you too. Leave a comment in the comments section. Chiefs Kingdom, this is a different spot for us because we're watching on the outside, watching the playoffs. And Wildcard Weekend just passed by, man. We had a game last night. It was a lot of good games outside of the game last night, which was horrible. Maybe even the Sunday night game was a little terrible too. But outside of that, it's been a good playoff so far. Some exciting games coming down to the wire, man. So we're going to talk about it in a minute. We're also going to get into the All-Pros, and we got special guests to come in and talk about the Chiefs too. We'll introduce him in a second. But till then, Mark, how you feeling, brother?
Man. Hey, man, feeling good, feeling great, feeling good, man. Airing my lungs. I know I know Chiefs Kingdom. We ain't used to sitting on the couch right now with the popcorn and drinks in our hand and watching football play. But actually, on Wildcard Weekend, we actually are. We don't see too many Wildcard Weekends, if we're being quite honest. But that's neither here nor there. But true. Yeah, no, man, because I think Chiefs Daily put out the stat, man. They got more Super Bowl wins than they got actual games in the wild card round under Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. But that's another subject for another day. Yeah, man, feeling good. Always a pleasure to chop it up, talk football, talk Chiefs with you, Brody, and of course, we always love having special guests and a friend of the show, Big E's in the building. I'm gonna call. I gave you a nickname, Big E in the building. So, yeah, man, love what Ed brings to the show, man. So I'm excited, man. Let's get busy, dog. Let's get to it.
Yeah, we got a friend of the show, family of the show, our brother. You know what I'm saying? He always comes and brings us his insight from a journalistic standpoint. Ed Easton Jr., USA Today, Chiefs Wire. Ed, thanks for coming on the show, man. How you feeling, dog?
Always happy to be on, and obviously being called family is the highest honor right there. So
Yeah,
I don't know, Big Ed, I got to get used to that nickname. That's what I'm gonna take a while to get used to that one, but I appreciate
it. That's funny. That's funny right there. Well, appreciate you jumping on with us, man. We definitely wanted to pick your brain on, everything NFL right now. Like you said before we came on, it's a little different spot for us because we're not in the playoffs. We're not getting ready for no games or, breaking down no games or, divisional round or who we got to face or anything like that. We're on the outside looking in, but it's still interesting to see with this playoffs who's going to emerge out of the AFC this year. So, but let's go ahead and get into it, man. The wild card playoff jumped off Saturday. We had the Rams and the Panthers. Game ended up being closer than what everybody expected. Everybody was thinking the Rams was going to come in there and just run shop against the Panthers, but the Panthers said, "Nah, man, we at home. We're gonna put on for our crowd." Shout out to Ted McMillan. He had a really good game. Jalen Coker, he had a very good game. He balled out. And Bryce Young, it's gonna be interesting with the Panthers going forward. What they do with Bryce Young. I think he's shown, in spurts, that he can be the franchise quarterback, but there are some inconsistencies. I do think going into next season, they need to put all they can in, as far as putting more weapons around him to make sure that he could succeed, at that next level too, if they want to make him the official franchise quarterback, or do they want to move forward? Do they want to move on off of him? It's we've seen a lot of these quarterbacks get these big contracts and they don't live up to it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm pretty sure
they got to make him prove it because
they I think they did the 5th year option on him. So But hey, man, he had a really good game. I don't think he should hold his head down. I don't think he was the reason why they lost. He definitely balled out. But on the Rams side, I do have some red flags and some concerns with the Rams, man, especially on that defensive side, man. Their defense hasn't been as potent as of recent, even going into the playoffs. That defensive line isn't getting penetration like it usually does against the offensive line. Jared Verse, Brandon Fisk, Brian Young, those, we talked about that young defensive line and how they usually, they give problems to other offenses out there. But lately they haven't been doing that. And it's been real interesting. And even that secondary hasn't been as good. They got some things they got to fix on that back end, especially if they want to, make it to the NFC Championship and possibly get to the Super Bowl. But overall, it was a great game. Matthew Stafford, he did what he needed to do at the end. Puka Nacua is amazing. He's still probably top 3 wide receivers in this league right now. You could argue number 1. Devontae Adams, he looks healthy. He looks like he's back, even though he had a little bit of a health scare, but he looks like he's healthy. He's back. And hey, man, they're moving on to the next round. They beat the Panthers 34-31. But fellas, what did you feel about this game?
Well, I'll jump in. I'll just say that I came in there with the same thoughts as everyone else. I thought this would be a blowout. The Rams, are the better team. Bottom line, they are. Mm-hmm. The only thing that I felt like Carolina really had going for them was not just the home field advantage, but the unknown. Mm-hmm. Let's be honest, there's a big unknown with this team. They got hot at the right time. Are they good? There's back and forth for whether or not the NFC South is actually a competitive division. But at the same time, these guys beat up on each other all year. So you're going to get these records of 8-9 or 9-8. You're not going to get like these clear-cut winners like you see in other divisions. So there's always that back and forth of whether or not anybody from the NFC South really matters once they get into the postseason. I look at a guy like Bryce Young that you brought up. I'm happy for the success he's getting because it was looking a little shaky there when they brought in Andy Dalton to replace him. I thought it was a little early at the time. The guy was going through several, changes with the head coach. He just never found the system, it looked like in the beginning, that fit his style. Nowadays, you're seeing him when he gets opportunities to have the ball in his hands, to make decisions down the field. I don't think he gets enough credit for his IQ. I think he has a great football IQ because a lot of throws that he was making down towards the end of the game, or even just games this season in the clutch, I felt like they were just smart plays. Like he didn't do a lot of stuff that hurt him, hurt the team. I just thought that was something that you could tell the jump. And I'm going to even bring it back to the Chiefs. That game against the Chiefs last season in 2024, where the Chiefs barely won off of a game-winning field goal, you kind of saw the start of that in terms of how clutch he could be as a quarterback and how he's able to handle pressure. So I thought that was the biggest thing when you talk about Bryce Young and what he could bring to a team, the versatility. We know he can run with the football. But I felt like he didn't get enough credit as a pocket passer. And we saw a lot of that in the second half. So I think that's the biggest story for me. And, obviously you said the Rams defense, that secondary needs help. Let's just be honest. That secondary was getting carved up in that second half. And to me, that was the biggest difference. And once again, it goes back to Bryce Young being smart, knowing what type of situations to make these throws, because they were going up and down the field in that half.
They were.
One thing I can say about the Rams, you talked about Verse, you talked about guys on the defensive line. That team is never going to be the same when you lose a generational talent in Aaron Donald. It's just never going to be the same. It's just impossible. So that's something they're going to have to contend with. I'm really interested. I don't want to jump ahead. I know the matchup with the Bears, but I'm really curious to see how that goes. I think the NFL did the right job to make that the last divisional round game of the weekend. That one can go either way.
Yeah,
so
it can.
I really enjoyed the game. I thought it was entertaining. The whole weekend was entertaining, but just in that game in particular, we saw some things. Puka is not. He is human. He saw the
yes.
That first half.
Yeah, he dropped a touchdown in the first half.
And it's one of those things where you rarely get to the point that I even got quiet for a minute. I'm like, wow, you don't see a guy, nobody around him, hands on the ball and he can't hang on. And, with a wide receiver, you got to catch that no matter what.
Yeah.
Devontae Adams being Devontae Adams, and he's not even 100%. But let's be honest, when was the last time you could really think of Devontae Adams being 100% in a game? It's a couple of years.
Yeah, right.
The better receivers in the league. So it's right either way. It was a great game to watch. It was a great start to the Wildcard Weekend. So
it really was. It really was. Mar.
Man, selfishly, I was kind of like, damn, Panthers don't win this game because that's the last thing I need to hear Chris on Tuesday. But like, look at them Panthers. I told you, keep pounding. Anyway, if you know, you know.
Whoa, hey, yo.
Whoa. Hey, you got to relax. For those that don't know, Chris, he said, watch out for the Panthers early in the offseason before the season started. And, he's been rubbing it in my face ever since. But no, the effort from the Panthers was crazy. Like Ed said, there was some plays by Bryce that was just like, okay, we could probably build off this guy for sure. And I think it led to that decision why they pick up the 5th year option this year and just say, hey, we just want to see a little bit more. Just throw you, $50 million a year. So, minimum at least. So it's kind of like, let's at least give me one more year. And hey, by all means, you need to do it because I'm kind of old school in the feeling like, hey, prove it to me that you're worth this kind of money, then I'll give it to you. No problem. No, so I like you said, Chris, man, give him a little bit more weapon. I think you got to get another wide receiver. As much as I love the personality that Xavier Legette is, I don't know if the mesh with him in this offense is meshing because it's just not clicking. Maybe a change.
I think Coker is pretty much the number 2 now.
Well, yeah. What I'm saying, like, Tech Coker, I don't know if you probably try to go get him maybe a solid tight end that can probably be a game changer.
There's a dude that's in their division that's gonna be a free agent.
Yeah, but
or there's another one that's gonna be out of the Ravens uniform, like named Likely. He might be available too.
Hey, that's not a bad option either. But then you can never. It would never hurt Carolina to add more offensive line play. That would never.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think the future looks good for them, especially in that division. It's the NFC trash bag south. So whoever wants to be the golden bag, it usually comes out as the representative of that division. Rams, a little disappointed in the performance, but you also see the championship grid that is Matthew Stafford makes the great throw. Cody Parkinson makes the great catch. So I got to give him props on that catch. That was crazy. Yeah. And they showed up when they were supposed to. I kind of felt like they kind of took the Panthers a little bit lightly. Kind of maybe slightly playing with the food. Kind of had a mental block there saying, "Oh, we're the Rams, y'all the Panthers. Gonna show up in Carolina, whoop your ass and burn out." And Panthers kind of said, "Nah, bro, we ain't just gonna roll over." So once
I hear that, but I gotta push back because they played them not just recently. They just played them and got ran off the field. So it's kind of like you can't think that now. Like you just lost to them.
Nah, I hear that, but I'm just saying when you look at some of the mental errors, even when it comes to some of the pass interferences they were getting on the defense, the Puka Nacua drops, that it looked like they weren't focused, and that's what I mean. That kind of like. We're just kind of going through the motions. It's the Panthers. It's like, no, bro, they already beat you before, and they're not laying down right now. So yeah, you gotta hone in, and you kind of saw it obviously towards the back end of the game where they were on it. They were, laser sharp, especially Stafford. So he made a case for his MVP votes that he should definitely get and receive. So. Yeah, man, great, and what a great way to kick off the Wildcard Weekend, man. I agree with you. I say 4 out of the 6 games were definitely needle movers. Once you figured out that Justin Herbert couldn't do nothing he's like, yeah, I know where this is going, and
we'll get into that in a minute.
Yeah, and then of course, last night, the end of the Tomlin and dynasty, it went out in bad style. So, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. With the Rams, also, you got teams that travel from west to east. They usually they never really get that. I don't know. It's just something about that time change. It just it does something to them. So, I think it had a little bit to do with that too. But hey, man, like I said, shout out to the Panthers, man. They had a pretty solid season, and they should be able to build on it. They should be able to build. So. All right, man, let's go to the next game. The night game on that Saturday was the Green Bay Packers versus the Chicago Bears. We all was expecting an NFC North showdown. These teams, they're always going to come down to the wire. But in the first half, it was all Green Bay, man. They went up 21-3. They were pretty much dominating the game. And you look at that, it was just like, all right, maybe Chicago just finally, hit that wall. But you never can count this team out. They've been doing it all season, man. They'll get down a couple of touchdowns, and then next thing you know, in the second half, they make adjustments. Caleb Williams makes some amazing throws, and next thing you know, they back in the game. And that's pretty much what happened. Chicago, Ben Johnson made some adjustments. The defensive coordinator for the Bears made some adjustments, and they started making life difficult for the Green Bay Packers, man. And that run game couldn't get going with Green Bay. Receivers dropping key passes, when they needed it. Shout out to Matthew Golden, though. He had a hell of a game, man. He they have something with him possibly next year. They could possibly booster up his snaps and get him going a little bit more, because he had his first touchdown as a rookie, which is crazy to me with all the injuries that they suffered in their receiving core. But I know a lot of people want to put this on Jordan Love, and rightfully so. He's the quarterback. You get when you win, you get all the praise. When you lose, you get all the shots. So, but I do think that his receivers sold on him. I think that he did make some plays on that last drive. Jalen Reed dropped I ain't saying he would have scored, but I think he probably would have got down to like the 15. Like if he had caught that ball, he probably would have got down to where they could have scored. There was another time where just the defense, if he just had 2 more seconds and he just hits Christian Watson right there at the goal line, it's touchdown. It's a walk-in touchdown. So I'm not going to, I know a lot of people they try to find reasons why they don't like Jordan Love, and that's fine. He may not be your cup of tea or whatever, but and I get it. They were up 18 and they couldn't, the third quarter going into the fourth quarter, they really couldn't get nothing going. I think it was more so the running game too. There was no balance in that running game. So they started becoming predictable with the passes or whatever. But in Chicago, they just, that crowd just got into it. And it was just like the momentum shift. It just did. And Caleb Williams, he was just making some amazing throws. And this is the game where you saw the absence of Michael Parsons. You really did. Like, if Michael Parsons is out there, maybe we're talking about a different game. Maybe they do keep that lead. Maybe Michael Parsons makes a couple sacks or affects the offensive line in a way to where Caleb Williams, forces a turnover or just has to throw it away or whatever. But you definitely missed his presence. But no excuses. Green Bay, they had this game and they should have won this game. They should have never allowed Chicago to come back behind 18. And I know there's talks about Matt LaFleur possibly losing his job. I don't think it happens. I think they keep him at least one more year. I think his seat will get hot a little bit going into next year. There will be high expectations for them next year. But as far as the Chicago Bears, Ben Johnson, man, you see a difference, man. You see the culture that he's building over there. Caleb Williams is bought in, and once you get your quarterback to buy into your program, everybody else is just going to buy in, and you see it through the trickle down from the whole team. They bought in. They're looking like a team that you wouldn't be surprised if we saw them in the Super Bowl this year. You just wouldn't. You wouldn't be surprised because Caleb Williams, man, that dude. Say what you want about him, but the dude makes amazing throws. There's only like 3 quarterbacks in this league that can do some of the stuff that he does, and one of them's here or here in Kansas City. You know what I'm saying? So Yeah, he just makes someone that was like 4th and 4. He just threw that ball to Roma Dunze. It was just like, wow.
It was like 4th and 9 or something like that.
Something like that. It was just like, wow.
And somebody made the joke. They was like, "Yo, dude just did the full Jordan meme. Like, come on with you, Jordan."
He was just making some crazy throws on a rope, man. This dude is he and this is some of the stuff that we saw coming out, to justify that him being the number 1 overall pick. I know a lot of people were down on him last year with Jaden Daniels, his emergence last year, and everybody's like, oh, maybe Jaden Daniels is better than him. But we see that you got to give these players some time, man, because not every situation is the same,
and coaching.
That's what I'm saying. The coaching and everything, the culture. Caleb Williams, he came into a toxic situation with Eberflus, and then they got rid of him. And then Thomas Brown, he did the best he could do. You know what I'm saying? So it was just kind of like by that time, the team had already checked out. So I think this year with Ben Johnson, and you see how much Ben Johnson not only affects Chicago, but affects Detroit too. So
Big facts.
Yeah, I'm just saying that you can see the effect in Detroit too. So shout out to the Bears, man. They're moving on, man, and excited to see what they do with the Rams.
Big facts. I mean, you hit all the major talking points, man. Chicago hit in the right direction, and Caleb Williams definitely, made me eat some humble pie because I've been kind of
Sup, Tyler?
Huge critic of him because I think sometimes he doesn't read the field properly. At least what we saw under Eberflus. So, but like you said, credit goes to Ben Johnson, man. Oh my goodness. One hire affects 2 teams so easily. It's crazy in the same division. So, they're heading in the right direction. I know. I guess my only concern, especially with them on the defensive side, is can they, get the stops when they need to? Because they can cause their turnovers, and that's fine. But they're gonna give it the cheeks for a minute. But can they stop them in the red zone? Can he get those stops? Hold teams to field goals. Because looking at the offensive side, they starting to get right. They invested, put some money in that O-line. Obviously, we know about Joe Thuney.
Miss you too, man.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to my man for the MIZ, Luther Burton III, looking legit, looking legit, and of course, DJ. And Rome with the big catch on the 4th down play. So
Loveland too, man.
Hey, yeah, that tight end, yeah, he's looking, yeah, he's part of that next class. They're gonna be nice. Him, Ty Warren, you throw that name in there. That young Bride, all of them, yeah. But when it comes to Green Bay, if you didn't watch the game and just looked at the stat sheet and say 4 touchdowns, no interceptions for Jordan Love, you're like, oh, Green Bay won it. And then you're like, they lost that game? Yeah, man. And I if people want to put it on Jordan Love, I think that's kind of crazy. I mean, that man don't play cornerback, or he's not an edge rusher. I mean, we got to be honest. And
he can't catch it for himself.
That's right. I mean, damn. But I will say I'm with you 100% on the Micah Parsons. I kind of felt the moment that he had that injury, I was like, oh, yeah, that changes everything for them.
You saw it. You saw it towards the end of the season too.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And ain't too much you can say on it. So that's just what it is.
Yeah, and I kind of want to jump in on this one. Just looking at the situation, and you talk about Caleb Williams, the biggest talk around him during the draft in 24 was the comparisons with Patrick Mahomes. If there was ever a game where you wanted people to see who he really was and what type of player, the potential, how we always talk about, just give him time. I think that was his moment to really just show the world that he's his own man. He's his own, star in the making, or even a star right now, I should say. And he's ready for the big lights. He's ready for the big moment, because that throw that we were just talking about, that 4th down play, they're going to replay that for years.
Yeah.
In Chicago, because when you look at it, no matter what replay angle you show, it's an incredible play. because that should not happen. And, you look at the defense of Green Bay, multiple opportunities there for either a sack, for an interception, deflection. There was so many things that could go wrong in that situation if you're Chicago. But that to even happen, you have to win that game.
Mm-hmm.
But just to even take it a step further, step back, Green Bay all season, one of the worst teams closing. And then you got Chicago, one of the best teams in terms of comebacks.
Mm-hmm.
So we knew this game was going to be determined in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
That was how this game was going to really come down to, because it's been like this all season from even their matchups.
Mm-hmm.
Chicago came back in both games. They came up short in the first game.
And
but,
then the second game.
You always saw it. So another thing that really stood out to me was the running game with Green Bay.
Mm.
It was shaky. And I think that was something that, we look at Jacobs and he wasn't healthy. That was a whole situation. But my biggest question mark, I don't know if you guys noticed, but why bring him on kick returns? Why was Jacobs doing kick returns at all?
Yeah.
On the first attempt. I just didn't understand that. That to me threw me off. He hadn't done a kick return all season. I think it was
I don't understand that either.
The NFL. Why would you choose the wild card round on the road in Chicago to do a kickoff return with
put Golden back there?
Yeah,
I would have did.
Yeah, but who puts their starting running back RB1 to get? That's literally you are playing Madden, and I just want to use Jacobs for everything. This is crazy.
And they were up. That's my whole thing. They were up. I kept looking at that. I'm like, okay, maybe this was like an emergency situation. Somebody's hurt. Those type of things happen. You got to put them in. But then they did it after the fumble. They brought him back again to do it. So I don't know if that's like I said, we talked about LaFleur and whether or not he's going to keep his job. If he was going to get fired that night, I'm going to point to that moment because it just makes sense. This is a running back that missed the last couple of games because of an injury.
Mm-hmm.
So why are you putting him back there in a kick return situation where you already know that's a higher risk of getting hurt is in a kick return situation? So I understand that. I just didn't understand the managing of the time, because Green Bay led about 90% of this game. And it wasn't just like a one-score lead. They were up by 2 scores for most of the game.
Mm.
I didn't quite understand the situation in regards to how they were managing the clock. They didn't run the ball that much. I got to look back on the game to see, but I felt like he was just dropping back the pass for the entire fourth quarter.
He was. Jordan Love had 46 attempts.
Yeah, I didn't. That part I didn't understand. That comes from coaching.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the players right there. And I'm not trying to beat up on Matt LaFleur, but I felt like this game was lost by the coaching was the difference in the game.
Mm. I agree.
Had his guys ready. I just felt like defensively Chicago was not sharp. They weren't sharp for most of the game. They were able to make big plays towards the end. But if you really look at the way this team was set up, and I look at Chicago, like they have the great wide receivers, they have the quarterback that's emerged to become one of the best in the game. Swift had a great game.
He did. He's been balling all season though.
Oh yeah, the biggest thing, and it goes back to what I said in the beginning with Caleb Williams. He emerged and he showed that he's not only a starter in this league, but he's a star. He's a leader. I thought he showed grit. He was playing hurt because he got hurt on one of those plays, and you see him grimacing every time he's going to the huddle. He's grimacing, but he's still out there. He's still leading the charge. That says a lot. Yeah. If you're a fan of Chicago Bears, you know you have a quarterback for the next 10 years. You got a guy that's willing to take the hits. He's willing to stay in there and play the game. I mean, he was still scrambling. He was still doing all of that on one leg for the most part.
Mm.
So to me, those are the intangibles you look at. And if you want to say you want to have a star quarterback, a franchise guy, it was a great moment, I feel like, for him, for Chicago. And, my last thought, that offensive line, they really stood up where it mattered because the pass rush was coming in the second half, especially in the fourth quarter and those last drives here and there. Joe Tooney got a bunch of young guys around him. He's made everyone better.
Yeah.
Chiefs fans don't want to hear it, but this is what he did at Kansas City. He came
First ballot Hall of Famer. Just gonna get his gold jacket ready.
He did the same thing when he got to Kansas City. He stabilized a young offensive line because he was a rookie at one point. Trey Smith, they were rookies.
Mm-hmm.
He stabilized the offensive line. They had Kyle Long was supposed to start, but he got hurt in training camp. Then Trey Smith, emerged and took over the spot. I spoke with Kyle Long recently. He said Joe Thuney was the leader of that group. Those guys, they learned from him. They talk about it now when they were doing press conferences. They were talking about how much Joe Thuney meant to that offensive line. So I understand it was a money situation. That's why the Chiefs made the trade. But some things you just can't replicate. You can get great players to come in, but you can't get players that are Hall of Fame caliber that change the culture. The offensive line. The Chicago, they're nothing but young guys on that line. And they were one of the best in the league. So it's just things like that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Matt LaFleur, he does have to, he's got to hold this one because he did make some weird coaching decisions in this game for sure. And it ended up costing him in the second half for sure. And it's been, like y'all said, second half has not been their bread and butter this year. They have been a terrible second half team. And, they got to fix that going into next year. They got to be better closers. They got to finish games. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like this team is just too talented. Would I like them to spend a little bit of more resources into their receiving core and get a real number one wide receiver? They haven't had a real number one wide receiver since Devontae Adams. That's why I was one of the ones like they should have brought him back, tried to bring him back. You know what I'm saying? You put Devontae Adams with this team, then you got a solidified guy who can win games for you. So, but hey, man, shout out to Chicago. Like I said, they resilient. They came back. Everybody's tripping about the whole Ben Johnson, Matt LaFleur handshake. Hey, man, that's what division rivalries are for, man.
I think that's great. Is that not great?
Yeah. That just adds.
Competitively not like each other. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
The same division. That's perfectly fine. It makes it better moving forward. So.
Yeah, the fans out there with the cheese graters, like that was funny.
Oh no, that was hilarious.
All right, man, let's go to the Sunday slate, man. We had the morning game. We had Buffalo Bills traveling to Jacksonville. Jacksonville had been one of the if not the hottest team coming into this, the most momentum probably of any team going into the playoffs, beating teams pretty much by double-digit points. And they, this game, it was pretty close in the beginning, man. It was just defensively, both teams were showing up. I did think that Jacksonville missed a spot early in the game in the second quarter. It was 4th and 2 at like the Buffalo's 9-yard line. They go for it, Trevor Lawrence slips and it's turnover on downs. It's early in the game, and look, I get it. You're trying to be aggressive. You got Josh Allen on the other side. You trying to like put points. You want to put 6 on the board. You don't want to put 3. But in that instance, I think you should have took the 3. I just think you got to take the points. You got to. In a playoff setting like this is one and done. Every point counts, and it ultimately bit them in the ass because they lose by 3. You know what I'm saying? If they kick that field goal, and I know Cam Little, he missed another field goal going into the half, but if they make that field goal, there's a possibility that now they're playing, in overtime possibly, or at least going for a field goal. You know what I'm saying? The play calls differently on that last drive. So, but shout out to Buffalo, Josh Allen. Like I've been saying, he's the best quarterback on the AFC side. And when you have that guy on that side, I know a lot of people want to talk about Buffalo's defense and the offensive weapons. I thought the offensive weapons were fine. You know what I'm saying? Now, James Cook didn't have his best game. He only had 46 yards. And then Josh Allen, he was getting beat up. It was at one point where it was a little scary. I thought he had got really hurt on that touchdown where he was grabbing at his knee. It was just like, but he ended up being all right. Then the hand when he threw the ball and hit the helmet of his offensive lineman, that was another injury. It was just, he's going to get beat up. He's a big guy. He runs over people. That's what he's going to do. But he had an incredible game, man. And Trevor Lawrence, he was making some mistakes. There were some throws that I'm pretty sure when he sees the tape, he's gonna want back because there was some throws where he short armed it. It was ducks, like it was some. He wasn't putting his chest into it when he threw it. It was just like I don't know if the moment got to him or whatever, but there were some moments in that game where Trevor Lawrence was reverting back to some of the things that I have questions about Trevor Lawrence. But shout out to Jacksonville. They had a really good season. That crowd was rocking. It looked like one of the better crowds of this weekend. So it was great. But at the end of the day, man, if you give Josh Allen just an inkling of a chance, he's gonna walk through that door and take it, man. And you have to beat, as Chiefs fans, we know.
Gotta beat them.
You gotta beat the Buffalo Bills. You can't just let them hang around because they'll get you. And so shout out to Josh Allen. They're moving on to the divisional round, and Jacksonville. They got some things that they can build on, man. They get Travis Hunter back next year. They got to decide what side of the football. I particularly think he should stay on the defensive side, and just let him be your number one corner on that side of the football. Maybe he has some packages here and there for him, but playing the both side thing, you can't do that in the NFL, man. It's just too taxing on your body, and he had to learn that himself. So put him on the defensive side, and just add on to what you already have. You know what I'm saying? You got a really good coach in Liam Cohn. I think he's building a culture out there, a winning culture out there. And like I said, guys are buying into the program, and that's always important. That's the same thing I said about Ben Johnson. I'm gonna say about Liam Cohn. Guys are buying into the program, and if they continue to do what they do, Jacksonville's gonna be right there in that division for sure.
Hey, again, man, you nailed it. Jacksonville's on the right path, but you let the best quarterback left in the AFC side, you let the door open.
Yeah,
you let the door open. Point blank period. I'm with you. I think the special teams also played a part in this, like you said. The decision not to go for the field goal, and missing the long one at the right before half. I'm like, man, that's a 6-point swing right there, and especially when it's so tight, because that was a slugfest, man. That was. To my wrestling fans, that was some good old JR Slobberknocker right there. It was, and they was beating the dog crap out of each other. And that was football. I enjoyed that game. I really enjoyed that game. I know, and I've been a critic of Buffalo's defense, but for some reason, because some of those guys, they've been around for what Buffalo's been doing. They turned that switch on and played a lot better. Like you said, turned the Christmas or what the Cinderella little carriage back to the pumpkin real quick a little bit with Trevor Lawrence a little bit. So, which that was part of the thing that needed to happen for Jacksonville. He needed to play like he was playing down the stretch, turnover free. Making smart decisions, and he kind of had a mixed game. He like you said, the mistakes, but he made some throws and made some plays. But man, Parker Washington, where did this guy come from?
Yeah, he's a baller.
Where did this guy come from? Where they hiding him? I don't know.
I know he was more special teams, but.
Yeah,
but he's emerging as the number 2 wide receiver over there right now.
Yeah, and of course you got to. Well, I don't know. Jacoby Myers might have something to say about that because,
true.
What he's done since that trade, and they said, "Oh, we like this. Yeah, here, you want to sign this extension right now?" He said, "Why, yes." Y'all don't want to wait till next year. No, we good. He's like, all right, cool, no worries. And it turned around BTJ because he was struggling a little bit. So, but no, Jacksonville's going to be all right. But now here's the test. Obviously, I don't want to look too far ahead. Josh Allen struggles against them tough defenses. If you're talking about the game he struggled against Houston, man, and Denver is They ain't too far from them. So
we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah. That's what I said. I don't want to get too far ahead, but yeah.
I got my thoughts on that.
Go ahead.
Well, what I will say, it was obviously just a physical game throughout. And defense. You know, if you want to see defense and teams really getting after it, this is the game. You know, you love it if you're a football fan, like you were just saying. I look at the Bills, and they're the biggest question mark to me in the playoffs, just because they could be easily the best team in the postseason, or they could be a disappointment just because of the way they're set up. You have the best running back and quite arguably the best quarterback. But the problem is so much relies on them being great.
Mm-hmm.
And when you looked at this game, it came down to who had the better players at the end. It didn't really come – I know it sounds very, like, obvious, but it came down to, hey, they have an MVP in Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm.
He is the difference. No other team has a Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have him in late games like that, I mean, that tush – I don't know what to call it. That tush push where he carried everybody to the end zone. It's got to be one of the craziest things I've ever seen. I mean, you're talking about – and I look at, because it looked like something you see in a Pee-wee game, you know, where kids are being like, this one kid is too big and he's just going to carry them. And it's ridiculous, because at first I'm like, did they blow the whistle? Did they stop?
They never do. Not with him.
Not with him.
He was down.
Nah, that was a Madden glitch, man.
I've never seen that in my years of watching the NFL for a quarterback to carry a couple of defensive linemen. Now, granted, the offensive line was picking him up and pushing him and throwing him out there, which to me is a rule they got to have to look into, because that's going to be injuries.
Yeah.
It was something I haven't seen, but also the toughness that he showed, because he was getting beat up in that game.
Mm-hmm.
His hand, I think he fell on his head a couple times. Like, that blue tent for most of the game.
He was.
It was that grit. It was that thing that we were just talking about with Caleb Williams, a guy that he's not coming out this game. He's going to do, not only is he going to play in this game, he's going to be effective, and he's going to do enough for us to win. That's the mentality you got to have. That's the quarterback you want in a postseason game. So Josh Allen just being the MVP, proving once again he's the MVP, was the biggest part of that story. When I look at the Jaguars, and you know what? I like the Jaguars in terms of what they are building. I know a lot of people are tough on Trevor Lawrence, and this was one of those games where it's easy to jump on and say, yeah, this is why he's not really a number – you know, he was a number one pick, but this is why he's not the guy long-term, because some people are still trying to figure it out. I feel like Trevor Lawrence is a good quarterback. Is he an elite quarterback? That's what people want him to be, but I think that's what he is. Like, you know how there's tiers of quarterbacks? You want the Josh Allen tier and the Patrick Mahomes tier. That's number one.
Yeah.
He's underneath that and floats a little bit, depending on the opponent.
Mm-hmm.
He has the weapons now.
He does.
He's the coach now.
Mm-hmm.
And he was home. This was a home playoff game, and he couldn't really move the ball. Against a Bills defense, it's good, but it's not as good as it was in past years.
They old and slow.
That's basically I was giving a nice way of saying it, but you're right.
They are old and slow.
So you look at it and you say, this was an opportunity here to really do some damage, especially since my defense is playing out of their mind right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really what it comes down to. I look at Jacksonville. This was their game they should have won.
Yeah.
They had them. The bottom line, they had them. This is the game they should have won. They're gonna beat themselves up over it. As I know we're gonna talk about the post game, but they got to keep their heads up. You know, stay positive. That's the mentality. That's what the head coach has to do. That's what the team has to do, because they have a bright future. They didn't have Travis Hunter, who I agree with you completely, should be a cornerback and should come in on certain packages as a wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully, the recent trade and adding wide receiver depth, I think that'll make that decision a lot easier next season.
For sure.
But,
for sure. Yeah, Jacoby Myers and the emergence of Parker Washington definitely will. Yeah,
I think that does it right away. But Jacksonville has a lot to look forward to. I think they're going to be that AFC South. Ooh, boy, if you look at that AFC South, there's a lot to worry about there, because the Colts, I don't know what they're going to do at quarterback. If Daniel Jones, I don't think he'll be ready right away.
Mm-hmm.
And he's technically a free agent, so that's a thing. That AFC South is going to be fun to watch over the next couple of years because they have some teams, and I say don't sleep on the Titans. The Chiefs obviously weren't the Chiefs when they played them, but saw some things that said this team is building towards something as well. Once they get a head coach, once they get a real system involved, because I think Cam Ward is going to be. He kind of reminds me of what we just dealt with Williams in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another. I know I'm all over the place here, but
no, you good.
I just look at what Jacksonville, how good they are, and you're not going to get this many opportunities to keep coming back because of how good that AFC South is. So
yeah, for sure, for sure. Let's go to the next game. The San Francisco 49ers, they beat the Philadelphia Eagles 23-19. This was a defensive game. Hey man, Robert Saleh, you pretty much coached yourself into a head coaching job, bro. Like you out there with duct tape and chicken wire on this defense.
Hey,
and he's been, now I will say this: the Eagles' offense is not the greatest. It's not good. And what's his name? Kevin Patullo. He got canned today, rightfully so, because his offense was predictable. It was uninspiring. And the problem, and I've said this all year, like this isn't nothing new. Because even with Kellen Moore, A.J. Brown was still complaining about not getting the ball. He was still reading books on the sideline. He was still tripping out. The only thing that was different was Saquon was amazing last year. And that's what kept their offense head and above the shoulders of everybody else, because Saquon is running for 152 touchdowns a game. So you run for 2,000 yards, that's most of your offense right there. And Jalen, he didn't have to do too much heavy lifting. This year, Saquon is good, but he ain't generational. He was in spurts. He looked like he was hurt a little bit, like he was playing hurt. Looks like it was hard, tough yards for him to get this year. It was like teams are like, we're not letting number 26 beat us. We're gonna make the quarterback beat us. So, and it just showed in this game, man. They just look out of sorts. It's the same old. They can't get the running game going. And look, Saquon actually had a good game. Tank Bigsby came in, spelled him. He had a pretty solid game too. But it's just like with A.J. Brown, it just goes through like a whole quarter where he doesn't get no targets. And then in the fourth quarter, when he gets a chance, it's like he drops a pass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like, what I'm saying, luckily Goddard had bailed him out, but it was just like, and it was just that offense, man, they need to figure it out, because if this continues, then Nick Sirianni got to go. He got to go. And I know he won a Super Bowl.
Ooh, yeah.
But I personally win. My stance on Nick Sirianni is they win in spite of him.
Mm-hmm.
This is what happens when you have a great GM,
Great
a really good defense.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And the parts of, good personnel around them. I think that some of the players on their team are leaders, but even on the sideline with him and A.J. Brown, look, I'm not saying that players and coaches don't get into it, but that wasn't a good look to me.
Yeah.
And I think A.J. is up out of there. I think he's gone. I think that's signed, sealed, delivered. They're going to trade him away to whatever team that wants him. But I never thought Nick Sirianni like added to this team. I just think they win in spite of him. Last year, they were just a great team, and he didn't really have to do too much. You know what I'm saying? Kellen Moore was calling the offense, and the defensive coordinator was calling the defense. Vic Fangio was calling the defense. We know Vic Fangio is one of the best in the league. So it's just like, what does Nick Sirianni do? Is he a motivator? Like, it seems like that team don't even like him.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, Jalen Hurts looks at him like they kind of like, whatever, man, go over there with your headset. We handling grown folks business over here. You go over there, man. Like, that's what it looks like with Nick Sirianni. So
yeah, they look annoyed, don't they?
yeah, they do. They just look annoyed with him because of his antics and some of the stuff he do. He's like a kid who got a great job, and it's just like he knows he's not qualified for it, but whatever. You know what I'm saying? But
The qualified is crazy.
But on the San Francisco, Kyle Shanahan,
Coach of the year.
San Francisco. Look, I know y'all mad at him because he don't win the big game, but y'all need to get that man a lifetime contract.
Coach of the year, man.
Give him a lifetime contract. That dude, he just coaches whatever's on the field.
Hey, but
press Kittle, but damn.
It's been his whole time in San Francisco is dealing with whatever the hell just happens to play that day. Like this is like they get injured every year. This ain't nothing new. This been Kyle Shanahan's whole San Francisco coaching career is him just training potato salad at whatever the hell scraps of rotten potatoes he got. It's just I don't know how he does it, man. Coach of the year. I love what Liam Cohen did, but this whole MacGyver act he just did, dog. Bubble gum, gorilla.
They lose Kittle, their best receiver right now, and they still rolling.
Hey, Brandon Ayuk didn't even play it down for him.
He's probably gone next year, so it's just like, and you know, I like Jawan Jennings. I think he's pretty much their number one wide receiver right now, but it's just
D-Rob. Hey, wait.
D-Rob was giving Quinyon Mitchell the blues in that first quarter.
He ain't never get that from you out here, bro. What's up with that, dog?
We had a couple of games where he did that.
Not like that.
I remember the Raider game.
No, not like that.
One of the Raider games. He went out.
That man was dominating in that game.
You forget another big name. I mean, you guys forgot about Sky Moore, man.
Oh yeah.
and you know, look, I remember being on this show the start of the season, and you know, Sky Moore was getting traded. I said Sky Moore turned out to be one of the better special teams players.
That's why Dave Cope should be fired.
Got Pro Bowl votes.
He did. He did have
Pro Bowl votes. Very consistent. Played all the games.
That's why Dave Cope should be gone.
These little option plays, but he does the job there in San Francisco. He's a consistent option for them. So
he is. Now he's looking like he's got a breath of fresh air out there in San Francisco. I'm happy for Sky Moore. I really am. But
no doubt.
But yeah, the Eagles, man, I wasn't surprised what I saw. I wasn't surprised that they lost this game. I knew that. I know a lot of people were looking at this San Francisco. Oh, they too beat up. They got too many injuries. Nah, man. Have you watched this Eagles offense? Like, yeah, it's been like this all season. And they find ways to just keep teams in the game. You know what I'm saying? They are not a dominant team this year. Even defensively, they're missing some. That defensive line isn't as dominant as it was when they won the Super Bowl. Like, that defensive line was scary. You know what I'm saying? Like, their secondary, Blankenship was getting – he was getting abused out there.
He definitely got exposed this game.
Yeah, and Blankenship was getting abused out there. So, but shout out to San Francisco, man. Shout out to San Francisco.
I do want to say, like, real quick, just from that game, one of the most interesting things, he brought up Sirianni and, like, what he can and cannot do, which we see, obviously, because he's very outspoken about any press conference or how he is on the sidelines. Something that really threw me off. I know Jalen Hurts has his issues, has his problems, but he's never had a consistent offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Since he's been the starting quarterback, which is kind of weird when you really look back at it. The fact that he's had so much inconsistency with whatever playbook they're using, but yet they still found success. He went to Super Bowls during that span and won one.
Yeah.
So it's always tough when it comes to Jalen Hurts and how do you judge him? And that's why I think the Eagles are kind of stuck with, like, is he a good quarterback or is it the system's bad? And it's kind of like this back and forth, right? But then you look at the wide receiver, you look at A.J. Brown. How can you not make it work with a talented receiver like A.J. Brown? How do you not have him be a focal point of the offense?
Mm-hmm.
So what's going on internally? What's going on in practice? So do these guys talk? You know, because sometimes you hear, like, all the stories come out when a guy is traded. Then you're going to hear, oh, okay, well, me and him didn't talk, and we only talked during practice, but we didn't really, get along. And all that stuff's going to come out later because, in my opinion, there's just no way a guy like A.J. Brown doesn't get, I don't know, double-digit targets on most games, right? Like, that's it's almost impossible with that type of talent. And don't get me wrong, Saquon Barkley didn't have the year he did last season. Even I felt like this season he wasn't used correctly.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they went away from a lot of the stuff that made them successful last season. Yes, you could say it's Kellen Moore, and that's the difference. Injuries on the offensive line hurt them.
It did. Mm-hmm.
It changed the way they played the game. They weren't even doing a tush push right. They were getting stopped this year.
Yeah, it wasn't as successful. Plus, the referees were starting to call that stuff too. So
they were calling the offsides because they've been doing that for years, but now they're starting to focus on it. It looks like, I'm not going to say that this might be the beginning of the end for Sirianni, but it looks like it could be if next season they start off slow.
Hey,
AJ Brown will be getting traded, like you said. I automatically assume that's going to happen.
I mean,
but
he dapped everybody up and left. Signed an autographed jersey from my man Quinyon Mitchell. Here you go, man. Good playing with you, dog. We got a Super Bowl out of this. I'm out.
That defense has some issues as well. I mean, you had to get Graham to come back out of retirement. That says a lot when you have to ask a guy to come out of retirement. That's a big deal. So I think they have a lot of holes they got to fix. San Francisco moving forward. MacGyver. First, I love the fact that you made a MacGyver reference. You just aged all of us. You let everybody know how.
Yeah, for real. Damn, Marv.
I will say when you look at San Francisco and just how good job Kyle Shanahan has done, that people don't even talk about. He's gotten so many people paid over the years.
Yes.
From the Sam Darnold, he resurrected Sam Darnold, right? Mac Jones this year, he's resurrected as being a guy that could possibly get looked at as a starter somewhere else.
Vikings, Colts,
I just mentioned Sky Moore. You just said D-Rob. I'm just naming players that were basically left for dead.
Cast-offs.
Cast-offs. You got a whole bunch of cast-offs. They just what am I forgetting? Kendricks, I think.
Kendrick Bourne. Yeah.
Like I didn't even. You know what I mean? Like he was a guy wasn't even in the league to start the season.
Eric Kendrick, the linebacker. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he's just starter now. So he was on the practice squad most of the season. It's just it says a lot about the coaching staff. I know we talked about Robert Saleh, how great he is. I have pause on him being a head coach. I think he's a defensive mastermind. But as a head coach, his problem wasn't the fact that, he knew how to call plays, etc. here and there. It was him being a leader in the locker room. That was the biggest thing that was being questioned.
It's kind of hard being a leader at the Jets. That
was the question that was being thrown at him in regards to being with the Jets. So maybe another situation. I don't know.
I think a better situation. Like if he goes over to like Baltimore, like I think he'll have a better success over there. You got your franchise quarterback over there. He can fix that defense. Some pieces on that defense. He can fix that defense. Like.
Or just the structure of
and then the thing about the Jets too with Robert Saleh, man, they drafted Zach Wilson. He gets hurt damn near twice, like back-to-back seasons.
Yeah.
Like so now your starter is gone. Like the defense was keeping them in games most of the years, and then Zach Wilson would just F it up when he did play. He would just mess it up, throw a pick or whatever, and it was just like, what do you want my man Robert Saleh to do? Is it
fair that it's the Jets? I understand. That's a whole nother show. But Robert Saleh, I just look at him as a defensive coordinator. I feel like there's some guys that are just excellent, all-time great coordinators. I put Spags in that same situation. Spags had a couple of head coaching opportunities in the past, and it didn't pan out. Some guys are just good coordinators, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think there should be a coordinator in the Hall of Fame. That fact that that's never happened in NFL history is kind of wild.
Yeah,
I put Saleh in that category. I just think he's a great defensive mind. But
I hear you. I would give him one more chance just to prove it. And look, if Josh McDaniels can get another chance, Robert Saleh can get another chance.
That's a good point.
Robert Saleh. There's a few coaches that be getting chance at, and people interviewing some of these guys. I'm like, why is he getting a chance?
Yeah.
Why is he getting a chance? And hey, before we move on to the next game, this little PR run that Matt Nagy's on, it's like, hey man, it ain't my fault, dog. I'm actually a good coach, man. Hire me. Like he going on this press run, like
You know what? Can I say this? I'm gonna jump in and say this. I think Matt Nagy's a great coach, right? He's a good coordinator. We forget so many times that Andy Reid calls the plays.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who it is. Andy Reid calls the plays.
Oh, we said that on the show.
We know this, right?
We all know. We know.
Now, Matt Nagy going on his press tour and doing what he can to get interviewed. I think we kind of all got an idea that he was on his way out.
Yeah.
I was thinking 3 weeks before the season ended.
Mm-hmm.
His press conferences, he was more about, I'm not talking about the future. He was not trying to talk about the future. And when he made mentions about young players, it was like they're good for the organization. Not saying us, not saying we. And I understood that, because at the end of the day, you want to make sure you're looking forward to your next head coaching job. I think last year he really thought he was going to get one of those jobs, whether it was the Jets job or the Saints job last year, and he didn't get it. This year he's going to get one of them. I'm still thinking maybe the Titans.
Yeah.
The Titans just sounds like that's the fit right there because of the quarterback, connection, and him working with Pat for so many years, and you're going to work with a guy like Cam Ward. So
and then Mike Beganzi, he was the assistant GM over here, and so he knows Matt. So
that's a big part of it as well. So you look at those situations, and I understood where his mentality is, and he doesn't want to be too attached to the problems that the Chiefs had this past season. But he's the offensive coordinator at the end of the day. That's all he's doing. And I don't think Andy Reid has a problem with it. He understands the game. He understands how it all works out.
Yeah.
He's back. No, he did his own interview. So
yeah,
I don't think he's a coaching gig. I'm just assuming. Once again, don't quote me on that, but I think it's Matt Nagy's on his way out. He's going to get a head coaching job.
Yeah, I can see it. I see the dark horse. I can see 2 dark horses. I can see for Nagy if he doesn't get the Titan job, maybe Miami or the Cardinals. I can see one of them being like, we'll bring Nagy in.
Jobs available.
And mad jobs. This is probably the most jobs that's been available. So, we'll get into it in a minute. Let's talk about this terrible Chargers and Patriots game.
You know what? It's not much to really talk about it.
I know it's not. That's why I was just like, dog, look.
It was
close, bro. It was some times where I was like, oh man, what's on TV right now? It was on one of my shows, dog.
It was a great game if you're a fan of both teams because you were on the edge of your seat. Because if it was a Chiefs game, we'll be looking at it a little differently. But
we would, but still, we'd be pissed off. That's what we'd be. We was watching that game. Like, here we go. This terrible off. What's Andy doing? He's play calling, man. It's terrible.
Hey, what did Nova say? Hey man, which Greg Roman we gonna get, man?
We told him. Greg Roman that always shows up. He talking about he holding back plays. Nah, he ain't holding nothing back. This is who Greg Roman is.
Yeah.
This is who Greg Roman is, man. As soon as he'll have a few good drives, and then once the team figures his ass out, it's a wrap. And that's what happened with Ravens. That's what I told Nova. I said, hey, man, ask Lamar Jackson how he feel about Greg Roman. He'll tell you. Simple.
Can I just say this? I don't really have much to say on this game. I had the Patriots winning no matter what.
Yeah.
But I don't think anyone outside of Los Angeles believed in the Chargers in general going into the postseason. I just never felt like a lot of people took them seriously.
Mm-mm.
They got in, they played well to start the season. Harbaugh was
and not to cut you off real quick. Shout out to their defense. Their defense showed up.
Oh, their defense definitely played, yeah. But that offense, it wasn't a Harbaugh type of offense. I just felt like they weren't running the ball as much. It was so much on Herbert. I think they really felt like Herbert had hit that next level. Because what you saw I start from that first game against the Chiefs and when he played, because he played out of his mind in Brazil. He did. He was amazing. But then you saw a reminder, Herbert's just not at that level yet. He's a good quarterback. He's kind of like with Trevor Lawrence. Good quarterback, but can he win you a game? Can he win you a series? Not series, but can he win you a playoff game? So far, we haven't seen this. He's 0-3 now?
Yeah.
So.
And look, the other 2 games, I put it on I put the first game where they lost to Jacksonville. I mean, you could put it on him, but that was just Brandon Staley being terrible in the second half. He was just terrible in the second half. That defense just gave up the draws in the second half. But then last year, now I put last year on him because he made there were some throws where he made. It was just like, what are you doing, Josh? Yeah, like, what are you doing, man? This year, look, man, that offensive line got his ass kicked.
They're all hurt.
They made that New England Patriots defense look like the Texans defense.
Hey, it's funny you say that because I was just having that conversation. Like the time that he did get, I felt like his receivers weren't getting open.
No, they weren't.
And then there were the other flip of that coin is then he wasn't getting any time because then they would just bum rush that weak O line. They're playing second and third stringers, so they just bum rush them, and next thing you know, it's pressure. So it was just bad. I was like, man, I would never say this as a Chiefs fan, but I felt bad for homeboy. I was like, damn. This man getting abused.
He was getting beat.
Relying on Keenan Allen past his prime is that's a choice by the organization. I understand he's an all-time Chargers, great, but sometimes you got to know when to move on, and I think he kind of showed it in that game.
He did. I think they will move on from him next year. Lab wasn't as good as he was last year, his rookie year. He started showing a little bit of he may not be a number one. He might be number two.
There's tape on him. When it's tape on a player and they're going into a second year, especially a wide receiver, it changes a lot.
It does.
They know how to set up for him. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like maybe he's more of a number two slot guy. They need to work on getting some outside help. Quinshon Johnson, he had a better season. He showed some glimpses, but I still don't think he's a number one wide receiver. That's something they're gonna have to work on, but they need to work on this medical staff. That's what they need to work on.
Hey, yo,
they definitely do.
Jesus, like this is getting ridiculous every year. It's damn in San Francisco, like, but at least Kyle Shanahan can keep it afloat. I mean, I guess you could say John Harbaugh is keeping it, Jim's giving it afloat too, but man, this is like every year it's a big injury to them. An offensive lineman, a defensive lineman, a receiver. Like it's just like even Herbert gets hurt a lot. Ribs or a thigh or hamstring, whatever. It's just like
yeah. Hey, you didn't know Justin Herbert's nickname this year is Bucky Barnes, man. That's the winner soldier.
Oh, you win the shows?
That man's whole left arm straight vibrating.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That is crazy. But no, they got it because look, man, I get it. People want to pick this team to win the Super Bowl every year. They want to pick them to win the division. And Justin Herbert, he's gonna take the next step. He's they always try to find a quarterback. They already did it with Josh Allen, saying he's better than Patrick Mahomes right now. I heard it all day today. That Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the league right now. So whatever. Okay. I guess you could be the best without beating the best. But anyway,
if anything, if the last 5 weeks of the Chiefs season didn't prove that Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback, I don't know. You see how different that team is, no matter who the quarterback is, other than Mahomes.
Yeah. That offense was horrible for the Chiefs. We looked like a bottom 5 team. We was worse than the Raiders.
Oh yeah,
we were worse than the Raiders. So, but yeah, they gotta figure that because I think Jim Harbaugh is one of the better coaches in this.
Without question.
Yeah, he's one of the better coaches. You know what I'm saying? That's why when he came to the Chargers, damn, now they got a real coach, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like we gotta take them a little serious now. But yeah, we gotta take them a little serious. But they gotta stay healthy. And I know it's hard because we deal with injuries too on the Chiefs. So it's not like everybody's gonna stay healthy. You're gonna deal with injuries. It's just like, man, just getting over that hump for them. It's just like they gotta figure that out, man. Because they lose games that they're supposed to win, then they overachieve and beat teams that they're not supposed to be. It's just like, I don't know. It's hard to take this team serious. So
I agree.
And then the other horrible game was last night.
I mean, you know what? I don't call it a horrible game. I just call it a mismatch. I kind of picked the Texans no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Pittsburgh was they were just never really impressive all season. If we're being completely honest. They won games where they should have lost.
Mm-hmm.
I just never felt they were an impressive team. They were basically a 500 team all season. I just saw the Texans winning that game easily. So it kind of went the way I expected it to go, to be honest with you.
I tell you what, though. Hey, CJ Stroud, you need to get a present for your whole defense.
Oh, his defense is – his job, he needs to know to manage a game. That's what I think he has to learn how to do.
He needs to learn how to hold on to the football. The man had 5 fumbles yesterday, 3 recovered. That's a record.
Yeah.
That's crazy. He was single-handedly keeping the Steelers in that game by himself.
I was gonna say that was
I was starting to hey, we might need to investigate CJ Stroud, man.
Yeah, it's crazy, bro.
You might need to get investigated over here. You might need to go over there with Chauncey Billups on and being part of that RICO case. Because it's getting crazy out here, man. What's up with all these fumbles, dog?
You gotta relax, bro.
What are you doing out there, man? Like, but this is my problem. And I've told this tomorrow, man. Look, man, I like CJ Stroud. I think he's a good guy. I think he's a good kid, and he does have some talent in him. But it's not been the same since his rookie season. He has not been ever since he talked to Caleb Williams and tried to give him a pep talk.
Tried to big bro. Hey,
been the same.
Here's my theory on that. And at first I didn't want to rock with your theory, but then later on in the season, and it started early, I'm like, and I'm looking at him playing, I'm like, oh, it ain't changing. And I'm looking at the progression. Then he got hurt. And I saw how the offense looked with Davis Mills for 3 games. And then I saw what it looked like when they put him back in the starting lineup. I'm like, ooh, that's tough, man. Because you can make a case, man. I might put Davis Mills' ass back.
It just flowed better. It just seemed like it flowed better.
But here's my theory, and I think to an extent, Jalen Hurts might fall into this category. When you see Alabama and Ohio State quarterbacks, they play with All-Americans everywhere.
They do.
Yes.
You're getting protected by All-Americans. They got All-American in the backfield, and they got All-Americans on the outside on both sides. So they're All-Americans everywhere.
You don't know offensive line.
You get to the NFL, you not gonna necessarily have that same situation. It's not as plush, and sometimes when all you got to do is manage when you're surrounded by all Americans in Ohio State and Alabama, and you ain't got that in Philly or Houston, especially CJ Stroud on his offensive line. He ain't got nowhere close enough all pros in front of him blocking for him. So that makes it tough, man. So he struggled against good defenses. So and Pittsburgh is not even a good defense. So
but he has that Texans defense is a type of defense that you can win a Super Bowl with
easily.
And I feel like he needs to pick up the phone, call Trent Dilfer.
Hey, how do you do it, man?
How do you do this? Listen, I go back to it was a 2000. I think that was the 2000 Ravens.
Yeah,
the greatest defense. Period.
Me too. It was the greatest of all time I've ever seen. So
Trent Dilfer managed that game. He managed himself to win a Super Bowl.
Sure did.
Same thing with Brad Johnson too for that Tampa Bay team that won that Super Bowl. That defense was amazing. So he just need to learn how to manage the game, and that comes from play calling too. You know what I'm saying? Like they need to learn how to make him a game manager. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, look, CJ, we ain't gonna make you do too much. I'm just gonna have you, short throws, get the ball at your hand quick. You know what I'm saying? Get you in a rhythm. I think that's the problem too. They don't get CJ Stroud in a rhythm. It's always like deep pass to Nico Collins, Jaden Higgins, like Dalton Schultz. Like it's never like nuances to this offense where it's like short pass, nickel and dime, dink and dunk.
I feel that seeing to take your point to that a little bit further, they got the running game going, so you got exactly what you wanted to help CJ Stroud and to make it easier for the play calling. But like you said, when you're not setting them up, I mean, like, me personally, I don't. Maybe I'm just being, over exaggerating. I don't like CJ Stroud having 32 attempts, especially when I got Woody Marks is at damn near 6 yards per carry, and Nick Chubb almost damn near at 5 yards per carry. I would have leaned on that and then made it so easy with the play action and roll them out and bootleg, whatever. Like, I thought it was endless.
Well, to be fair, like, they were moving the ball, but then CJ Stroud want to fumble in the red zone.
I'm not absolving him of 5
he threw a pick. He threw a pick, right?
I'm not absolving him of those issues because it still remains the same that he needs to clean up some football. Yeah. I mean, that's just point blank period. I mean, you don't waste a Super Bowl caliber defense. But the crazy thing about this defense, they said, no, we'll just score 2 touchdowns of our own. So we're not tripping about it. So, but unless they're scoring, which they are on defense, if they're not scoring the ball, man, it's gonna be tough to. Hey, CJ, man, can you give us 2? That's it. That's all I'm asking for you, bro. So it's gonna be tough, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Make a comment about obviously this was Tomlin's last game coaching the Steelers, and possibly Aaron Rodgers' last game, period. Which I think that might be the bigger story, to be honest with you, because I don't know where he goes from here. But Tomlin, it's tough because I felt like he checked out maybe 2 weeks ago. I just felt like he was frustrated with just being the head coach of the Steelers. That was the bottom line. I don't think it was the players. He was just tired of the fans getting on him because the fans have been riding him for the last 5 years now. Yeah. And I understand it's important. You got to win a playoff game. I get that. But you got a coach that has never finished below 500 in 19 years.
All 19 years. It's crazy.
That's I don't think we'll ever see that again. I'm being honest with you. I don't think we'll ever see a run like that.
Yeah.
And I feel like it doesn't get the appreciation it really deserves. Adam Schefter earlier today, I thought he did a great job of putting it in perspective because I feel like a lot of people for years just look past Mike Tomlin and what he's done in Pittsburgh. Like the standard there is they're always in the mix. They're always in the mix, no matter what. We don't know a time. You have to go, like I said, 20 plus years back to know a time when they weren't in the mix. So I think there's something to be said about that. Yes, only one Super Bowl during his tenure is something to be concerned about. Not winning a playoff game in how many years is something to be concerned about. But considering the changes in the roster, you had to go from Roethlisberger and then find somebody to replace Roethlisberger. You had Justin Fields. You had Russell Wilson. Yeah. You're bringing, Aaron Rodgers, who's over 40 years old. He found a way. You talk about MacGyver.
Yes.
To keep this team afloat and relevant, because that's really what they want in Pittsburgh. They want to always seem like they have a shot of winning a title. They've been better at being relevant than the Dallas Cowboys. And the Cowboys are supposed to be America's team, and they have the owner that'll do whatever it takes to put a team out there to win a title. The Steelers under Mike Tomlin have been what the Cowboys want to be or want to be known as. So I just look at what Tomlin's done, and hats off to him. Yeah. The fact that he stepped out, they weren't going to fire him. That's something to also think about. As much as they would say, they weren't going to fire him.
Yeah, they don't fire coaches.
No. So he decided to step down, and I don't think it was because of the organization. I think it was because of the fan base. I think the fan base I think he had hit his limit.
I think he was just tired. I think he wants to change the scenery. Whether he sits out a year and goes, talk football for a year and then go back into coaching in 2027. But I just think he wanted to take a step back. I think you've been somewhere so long. And same thing with the John Harbaugh thing. It's just like you've been there for so long, man. It's just like you kind of get stagnant. You kind of get complacent. It's kind of like,
Let me ask you guys. Can you remember a time when they were saying fire Harbaugh at any point in Baltimore? Because I can't think of it.
I mean, I know some fans that were saying it.
I heard it more towards the back end of last year and some spurts, but I definitely heard a little bit more of it.
As a matter of fact, we were hearing it a little bit before Lamar got there. That they were not playing good football. They weren't making playoffs.
100.
And even his first, I think Lamar Jackson's first year, they didn't make the playoffs or one of the. But Lamar Jackson saved his job pretty much when he finally put him in. When he put him in, he saved his job. And so there was rumblings then, but then they started, being one of the better teams in the AFC. So Raven fans backed off of that. I think these especially the year where everybody was deeming them the best team, when the Chiefs went into Baltimore, everybody thought this is the year for Lamar. He won the MVP. This is his year. That defense is generational. And when the Chiefs went in there and beat them, I think that was kind of like they just let out a lot of ear in that fan base for Harbaugh, because it was just like, and I've always had this complaint where when they get in the playoffs, it's almost like they change their playbook. It's like they don't do the things that got them there. Run the football, use Lamar Jackson's legs. They just want to drop back and pass all of a sudden and be this shotgun, throw it down the field team. And it's like, that's not what got y'all here. Why are y'all changing this all of a sudden? Like, stop doing that. Like, your defense is good at the time. Your defense was good. You know what I'm saying? Now, this year, the defense was horrible, especially in the beginning. Like, they got a little bit better towards the end, but it was horrible. It was bad, all-time bad. We didn't recognize that defense. So I just think it was a combination of a lot of things. Injuries hurt them this year. And I just think it was time for Harbaugh. It's like I think it was time for Tomlin, man. It's just like we got to try something different, man. I know a lot of people were like, well, you kept y'all in the playoffs overflow. But, like, okay, that's cool. But I'm tired of being mediocre all the time.
Was on his way out the year they lost to Tennessee in the divisional round, and I think they were the number 1 seed that year. This was the year for the Chiefs, the first title in 2019, I believe it was.
Yeah.
So that to me, Harbaugh was like, I didn't know he was going to stick around from then. So
yeah. I agree. That's what I'm saying. A lot of fans were calling for his job back in that point, but then Lamar came in and gave them a spurt, and it was like, all right, he can keep his job. You know what I'm saying? And him and Harbaugh started developing a good relationship. So, and then after that, I think after this season, that kind of went to the end. I think Lamar wanted to change, and I think John Harbaugh needs to change. He need to go somewhere else. He need to go to a new building, see some new faces, man. Like, new scenery, new fan base. Like, same thing with Tomlin. Like, it's just like it's starting to get mundane to them. And you just tell by the culture and the coaching. You know what I'm saying? It's like he's not a bad coach. He's a great coach. It's just like, but it's just like it's the same thing. It's just like you get Aaron Rodgers, another stopgap quarterback who just, what I'm saying, he's past his prime. He's still solid, but he's not the Aaron Rodgers that we've known in Green Bay. Like, he's not that guy anymore. And it's just like it's just same old stuff, and just enough weapons on the outside. DK Metcalf, he's good, but it's just like they needed more. I thought they were going to be buyers at the trade deadline. You want to go all in with Aaron Rodgers? Why not go all in? Get another wide receiver.
Probably done, because at the end of the day, I feel like he gave a great effort, but we got, MVS was his main target for the last 2 games of the season because you didn't have DK Metcalf.
Yeah,
Adam Thielen. You had guys that were pretty much, they wouldn't be in the top 3 in most teams in terms of the depth chart that were his main target. So that's why I think there's also going to be an argument with Aaron Rodgers, because he probably doesn't think he's done. Because when he has DK Metcalf, he is pretty good still. Yeah. So it's something to be talked. It's going to be a lot of discussion regarding him. But I'm looking for Tomlin, if he does take a TV job next year, I think that's going to be the path for him right now.
Tomlin could do the funniest thing, though.
Gonna be a coach for the Ravens. That'd be crazy.
We have to trade for him. The Steelers still have his rights, so they.
That's right, because he stepped down. That's right.
Yeah, he wasn't fired.
Yeah, they definitely not doing that. They wouldn't do that. Take your ass to the Cardinal.
I mean, look. Me and a couple of homies got a joke about Mike Tomlin. We call him mediocre Mike, because he's just going to get you, at least over 500 and into the playoffs. But
I heard somebody call him the Black Jeff Fisher.
No, Jeff Fisher wish he had a Mike Tomlin career, bro.
Nothing less.
Yeah, he wish he had a Mike Tomlin career. But no, look, I think Ed, you did a fantastic job pointing out the hurdles he had to deal with, that he's dragging teams to the postseason. Like, you got to commend that. If I'm earlier in the show commending Kyle Shanahan dragging a beat up damn team to the playoffs, I damn sure gonna give Mike Tomlin for 19 years dragging some teams that had no damn business to the damn playoffs in there. Duck Hodges is his quarterback. Mason Rudolph is his quarterback. Two small hands. Kenny Pickett with the gloves can't hold a whopper is his quarterback. I mean, he ever since Ben left, and he had to deal with the deterioration of Ben Roethlisberger.
Because Ben couldn't move for his last 2 years. Couldn't run. He couldn't move.
Yeah. So
he couldn't throw the football either. He had 5 yards.
He was dealing with the deterioration of that as well. So, like, come on, man. Like, and I know they want to beat up on him because he didn't win, but man, put any other coach in that circumstance and let's see how they would do. I don't think they would have nowhere close to the same results, or probably even making just a wild card round, let alone 19 years of being over 500 and multiple playoff trips. And I know, especially those Steelers fans, oh, we got 6. We won, we want 7, we want 8, 9, they feel like they want to be the best NFL franchise ever. I get it. But, man, it's going to be tough to replace old Mikey T. That's going to be tough to replace, man.
Yeah. We'll see. A name that I could see going over there is
Brian Flores.
I was just about to say Brian Flores.
Oh, did I say that? Oh, damn.
Yeah, I think he would get that defense back in shape. I think he'd definitely get.
Brian Flores is overdue for another opportunity.
Yeah, I think he would get that defense back in shape for sure. And I think he'll add to this offense. Definitely get some pieces up in there. So.
Yeah, so
okay.
Yeah, now do your thing, Ed.
Right back,
guys.
But yeah, man. Yeah, it is.
I just think it's astonishing what he's done, man. But that leaves a very historic job open. Say what you want about the Pittsburgh Steelers, man. That franchise is very historic, and you're going to get a chance to try to see the full fulfillment of your plan, because they don't fire coaches. So they might, give you a full 4 or 5 years to execute your plan and see if it comes all the way for fruition. So that should be calming as a coaching candidate, so, but Brian Flores was the first name that came to my mind too. I wouldn't hate it. Plus, he was there. Mike Tomlin did bring him on the staff after he got fired from Miami.
Yeah. So he knows that organization.
Yeah, so he knows the organization. He knows exactly what they're looking for, expectations. And already knowing that should probably give him a leg up. But
he definitely got to get that offensive coordinator thing right though. They got to get the quarterback thing right. They got to get that right over there.
Oh, they got some work to do.
They got work to do.
They do.
They definitely got some work to do. You do have a wide receiver in DK Metcalf. You need to add somebody else on the other side of him.
Yeah.
You definitely possibly. I don't know what happened to that rookie. What's his name? Is it Caleb Johnson? The running back. Yeah. Hopefully he can come bounce back, because he did not have a good season. I thought he was going to be better than I thought he was a perfect fit for the Steelers.
Kenneth Gainwell said, "Nah, bro."
But even before Kenny, it was Jalen Warren that was taking all his snaps too.
Jalen Warren was the number one starter to begin with, but I'm just saying, like, Kenneth Gainwell was making some plays this year that you're kind of like, I can't take this guy out the field. So
yeah, so it's just like they got to figure it out. I'm imagining they're not bringing it. I think Aaron Rodgers is done. I think he retires. I don't think he wants to do this anymore, especially after last night. After getting his ass kicked the way he was getting his ass kicked. Like, they had that boy on a slab, man.
Hey, man, that's what happens when you got a young offensive line that's kind of inexperienced.
Put some Gates barbecue on them ribs, boy.
Boy, hey, snatching them, rib snatching, bro. Hey, Will Anderson was hunting, bro.
Yeah, it was all bad. It was all bad, but
man. I thought that was probably the most predictable game out of all 6.
I do too. I was like, there's no way the Steelers are going to win this game. And then all of a sudden, it was kind of like, this damn offense.
Hey, CJ, what are you doing, bro?
That's what I say. Investigation. Check his DraftKings.
Hey, stop. Hey.
Let me stop. They're going to be like, Chris, you snitch. No.
Hey, stop, bro. Hey, but I will say this. Hey, he's kind of been having like OC, inconsistency as well. I will say. But,
CJ Stroud.
Yeah.
And I like Woody Marks.
I do.
But I think Woody Marks is inconsistent.
Well, if Joe Mixon is healthy, I think we're having a different conversation about Houston's offense.
Possibly. Because that's what CJ needs. He needs that play action pass.
Yeah.
That's what he worked. And then like his rookie year, he had a really, really good offensive line.
And he was solid. It definitely leaps and bounds better than what he has now, yeah.
Then year 2 came and it was just like that offensive line was terrible. He was getting his butt kicked. So it was all bad. All right, man. Let's just preview real quick the divisional round. You got the Buffalo Bills facing the Broncos. They're going to Mile High. Look, man, I know everybody thinks this Broncos defense is really good, and they are really good. They're probably maybe the second or third best defense in this whole entire playoffs right now. Mm-hmm. But I don't trust Bo Nix. I just don't. I do not trust Bo Nix. He struggled the last game of the season against the Chargers when they pulled guys. They had set guys. He was struggling. That offense struggled. Christmas against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Had nothing to play for. And it took a last-minute touchdown. It was almost Olin Doken beating Bo Nix, which I'd been pissed off because we wouldn't have the pick that we got right now. But still, it took – he almost lost to Olin Doken. You see how bad he is. Like, I do not trust Bo Nix. I trust Trevor Lawrence 10 times more than I trust Bo Nix. I don't care if it is in Denver. I think the Buffalo Bills is going to beat them just like they beat them last year.
Damn.
I can see that. I can definitely see that. I think that my biggest issue, and we were just talking about earlier with Buffalo, will it all be on Josh Allen? Will it all be on James Cook, where they both have to be superstars in order for them to win it because they don't really have anybody else? Remember, they don't have Gabe Davis again. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I'm not saying he's this big time wide receiver, but for them, for their system, he's great for them.
Yeah,
he's not going to be available. I think when you have a situation where Denver's going to be favored, they are the top seed, they are going to be at home. Mm-hmm. It's hard to go against that. As much as I like Josh Allen, as much as I like Buffalo, Josh Allen has to play perfect. He's been getting beat up. He has to be the best player on the field on either side for them to win that game. So I don't know. It's going to be tough. If Buffalo wins, it's going to have to be like one of those last-second field goals to win it. They're not going to dominate this game.
They may not dominate, but I trust Josh Allen way more than I trust Bo Nix. I just do, and I think this Denver defense is good, but it can be had, man. It can be had, and especially in the run game. And I don't think that defensive line has performed particularly well in these last few games. Like Nick Bonito, he had got to like 12 sacks, and then it was just kind of like capped out. He got to 14.5 eventually, but it was just kind of like he wasn't as good. I think teams started game planning towards him a little bit more, double teaming him a little bit more. And I know this defensive line is really good. I like the what's his name, Allen, the defensive tackle. But it's just Zach Allen, that's his name. But I just feel like I think outside of Pat Surtain, just don't throw on his side.
Attack Moss.
Go after Riley Moss, man. He is a DPI waiting to happen.
He is.
Who are you throwing to? If you're the
Brandon Cooks, he still got some tread on them tires, man.
Well, no, he gave Khalil Shakir a lot of targets last
Them
week.
too.
Okay.
And don't sleep on Dalton Kincaid, man.
You call up McCole Hardman from the practice squad?
Nah.
They might have to. They're down a wide receiver. They might have to.
I guess.
I know that it hurts, but
he gonna get hurt, man. He just can't stay healthy.
Nah, we good, bro.
But I got Buffalo winning this game. I look, Bronco, you can give me whatever. I don't care. Y'all suck. Y'all trash. Whatever.
Okay.
49ers and Seahawks. This is gonna be interesting, man, because all the pressure's on Sam Darnold.
Seattle's the
all
talking
the pressure's on Sam Darnold.
No one's talking about him. That's why I think it's going to make Seattle so dangerous. Is that first of all, you have the best home crowd in the playoffs right now. I think nobody wants to go to Seattle to play.
They don't,
and they have such a talented roster that nobody really talks about. We talk about all these teams, and Seattle's a number one seed, and they don't get the press like all the other teams. So I don't know if that comes back. Where does that help them? Because they've been under the radar. You know, I say the only exception was that Thursday night thriller they had against the Rams. I think it was a Thursday night game. That was like the only game where everybody was talking about Seattle. I look at them. San Francisco doesn't really. They don't have enough. I know you talk about MacGyver. If you have to go the whole MacGyver mentality into Seattle, which is a division rival, they know each other so well. I think Seattle has the advantage. I think Sam Darnold has proved that he's ready for this moment. I don't know. It's AFC West has always been funny. It just always has. Between those three teams, you never know. But I'm going to go with Seattle just on the basis of the home crowd, and they just play well at home every time.
Mm-hmm. What you got, Mo?
I mean, obviously they know each other pretty well. Man, how many? You can go back to even Legion of Boom and Vernon Davis, just San Francisco, Seattle, just knocking the snot out of each other. It's going to have to be another David Copperfield attempt from Kyle Shanahan. He's going to have to pull another rabbit out the hat because the Seattle defense has been playing pretty damn well down the stretch. But I will say this. I know nobody's really been talking about him, but can they not have the rust of having a week off? Obviously, Charbonnet's been playing well. So has Kenneth Walker. I say, make it easier on Sam. Get that running game started. This was almost similar to that last regular season game. When we talking about it. It should be a lovely game to have Nick Bosa and Fred Warner. So since they're not there, I mean, I think it simplifies your offensive game plan. Attack the run, attack until they can find a way to stop it. And that helps your quarterback. Because I think that's always a question mark with Sam Darnold. Is the pressure going to burst his pipes, or he going to shine like a diamond in these big moments? So, but no, I think he'll lean on that running game, and as they should. So I'm gonna rock with Seattle on this one for sure.
And no George Kittle for the 49ers, so that's a big one.
That's big.
That is big. Look, man, I'm with you, Mar. Lean on that running game. You got arguably the best receiver in this season and Jackson Smith and Jigba. So
when you need a play, you know who to go to.
Yeah.
I got
JSN is a dog, man. Yes. And I think Rashid Shaheed is starting to pick up this offense too. You use him to stretch the field, open things up. I'm with y'all, man. I think the injuries are going to catch up eventually. They just got to.
They got to at some point. Like you can't just
especially in Seattle. And Seattle knows them. And I know it's a division game, so it's probably going to be closer than what we think it's going to be. It's going to go into the fourth quarter. You know what I'm saying? But I think it's going to catch up eventually.
The superstars in the playoffs.
Yeah.
More than anything.
I know a lot of people are banking on Sam Darnold folding, but I think he does just enough to win this game. That's what I think. And then you have the Sunday slate. You got Texans and Patriots. This game is going to be interesting to me because it's in New England, and we all know defenses travel. They do. The question is, can CJ Stroud turn down the turnovers, and can they successfully run the football against this defense?
Go ahead, Ed.
I don't think so. I just feel like New England. You know, it's funny because they're a team that they're a young team for the most part, but because of their head coach and nothing against DeMeco Ryans, I think he's a great head coach.
Mm-hmm.
They've got them playing well above their heads.
Yeah.
I mean, Drake May, the confidence Drake May plays with, I think that's going to put him over. He has veteran receivers around him.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't play well this past Sunday, but I think even though you're looking at a situation where you got a Texans defense that can carry this team to a win, there are too many elements going against Houston.
Mm-hmm.
You can't score. You can't move the football.
Mm-hmm.
If you're New England, I think the game plan should be keep their defense on the field as much as possible and tire them.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we're all human. If you keep those guys out there for a long time, it's gonna wear them down by the fourth quarter. And I don't think a team has really kept them out there that long. It's kind of been one of those situations where I'm trying to think back to a game because the Texans were on like a long winning streak right now.
Yeah.
So I can't even think about the last time their defense was kept on the field too long. Like I can't really think of that because they always look refreshed. They always look ready to go. They're in that type of situation, and I just look at New England's offense where they have enough weapons in order to push that. You got Henderson, the rookie, playing well. They're gonna go to the run game. They have the wideouts, like I said. I think New England wins this game, but it's gonna be one of those low-scoring affairs. I wouldn't be surprised if you get a weird score like 9-7. It's that type of game where I think that would happen.
Yeah. I was thinking like 10-7, like something like that. And I'm with you. It's going to be tough because Drake May, he was solid, but he was pretty much under control from a game Chargers defense. But this Texans defense is on another level, so I think he's definitely going to have his struggles. And if CJ's struggling against a piss poor Pittsburgh defense, he's definitely going to struggle against a solid defense in New England. So I'm not expecting too much offense at all. So it's pretty much, which defense blinks first.
Yeah. Weapons on New England, so it's like, I kind of look there.
It's going to be interesting to see if Christian Gonzalez can go.
Yeah,
I know he got hurt in the game. So he's their best corner. And if he's not in there, then that can open up some stuff. And it's going to be interesting if Nico Collins can play. So that kind of cancels each other out.
I don't know. Christian Kirk kind of showed he still got some.
He showed up in this game because it was the Steelers and they're terrible.
That's true. That's true. Touche.
But I mean, if he can do it again, he could hopefully he could do it in this game. But I'm just saying, like, it's going to be interesting to see the two best players on the defense and offensive side for the Patriots and the Texans play. If not, that kind of cancels it out, and then we might still see a 9-7.
Yeah.
Now, I think the keys of the game for New England would be Ramondre Stevenson and Travion Henderson.
Yes.
If they can get those guys going, then it could be a long day.
And then once again, Drake May having an MVP-like year, this is a moment to really solidify that if you're, quote-unquote, the MVP of the league. So I look at that as a show-me moment if you're Drake May. You got to really show the world that you're that guy.
Oh, fair point. Fair point. If he could take down the mighty Texans defense, that nice little feather in the cap. And depending on, because I'm pretty sure they already made the votes for the MVP, but depending on how he goes, he can either show, hey, man, this is why I should have been MVP, or, this is why I am MVP. So,
yeah, for sure. And then you got the Rams traveling to Chicago.
This is the game right here.
Yeah, this is the game of the week. The thing about the Rams, man, can they show why they should be the best team? And a lot of people, wide range of people, think they're the best team in the NFC this season. Can Matthew Stafford show why he's the MVP of this league? You know what I'm saying? We know what Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams represent. Sean McVay is going to be a good chess match against that Chicago's defense, and Ben Johnson against this Rams defense. Can this Rams defense get pressure on Caleb Williams enough for him to rattle him to maybe force some mistakes to get some extra possessions for Matthew Stafford and them? It's definitely going to be an interesting game. It's going to be cold in Chicago. You already know that. So they're going to have to put on their hard hats on and probably have to run that football. Kyron Williams and Blake McCorum, I hope you're ready. You're going to have to run that football, dog, because I don't think they want Matthew Stafford throwing the football in that cold weather out there, especially if it's like snowing or anything like that. But it's going to be interesting, man. Sean McVay, he's the veteran coach going into this. He's been in these instances, and this has been Johnson's first time as a head coach being in these instances. So we'll see. We'll see how it runs. I'm going to roll with the Rams because I just think they're the more experienced group. And I think that Matthew Stafford is just going to make enough plays in this game to win this game. And got them moving on to the NFC Championship.
I got Chicago, man.
Ooh.
Special about this group. When you win games that they should have lost last week. Let's be honest. They should have lost the game in a reasonable. I don't know. The odds of them winning that game is still kind of funny, but it's only because you got a Green Bay team that gives up leads, and you got a Bears team that's good for comebacks. That's the only time that could happen. But I kind of like what this Bears team has. They play for each other. You could definitely see that. The coaches, they're all in with the coach, which is such a big deal. And you got that home crowd, that home Chicago crowd, which is hungry. They're hungry for a win. I just think so many elements are going to go their way. Caleb Williams has kind of proven that he can be that guy. And I like Los Angeles, but a lot of stuff that we were talking about earlier, defensively, they had a bunch of issues against Carolina, against Bryce Young, and I feel like a lot of that's going to carry over into this game with Caleb Williams, who's going to have more weapons than Bryce Young had. So I'm going with Chicago in this one.
Damn, man.
Okay, I ain't mad at it.
I ain't mad at it at all. I will say this. Rams can't play what they did last week, as in what I'm saying is, let the Bears hang around because the Bears are showing time and time again saying, oh, you leaving the door open for us? Yeah, we just going to step on through this thing. And it happened to Green Bay last week. So I think Stafford's on his run to get number 2. I just kind of been feeling like that for pretty much the back half of the season where he started getting hot, and because I was astonished. I'm like, man, even training camp and going into week 1, I'm like, oh, his back. I'm like, oh, this dude broke back. Like, I ain't got, like, damn, like, and the next thing you know, he's over there playing like MVP. So I'm gonna stick with the Rams on this one.
For sure. All right, Ed, go ahead and let's talk about it, man. Miss Lynn Jones. The discourse after the Jacksonville Jaguars game, post post-game conference, they talked to the coach, and Liam Cohn was up there. I'm gonna play this clip real quick, and then we'll get your opinion on that back end.
How you doing today? Lynn Jones, Jacksonville Free Press News. I just want to tell you congratulations on your success, young man.
Thank you.
You hold your head up, all right? You guys have had a most magnificent season.
Thank you.
And you did a great job out there today.
Appreciate
so you
it.
just hold your head up, okay?
Thank
and
you,
ladies
ma'am.
and gentlemen, Duval, you the one, all
Thank
right?
you, ma'am.
keep it going. We got another season, okay?
I appreciate
Take
it.
care and much continued success to you and the entire team.
Thank you, ma'am.
So that was Miss Lynn Jones. She's a part of the Jacksonville Free Press, a black publication. That she is the editorial on that publication. She was giving words of encouragement to Liam Cohn, and people. It was welcomed by the fans and people who are not even fans of Jacksonville. They were like, this is a breath of fresh air. We've never seen this before. This was nice of her. You know what I'm saying? We see most of the times in press conferences, they asking the question, "Oh, do you think you should have went for it on 4th down? Do you think you should have did that? Is Trevor Lawrence your future quarterback?" There's questions like that all the time. So this was different. And then all of a sudden, I saw media members, Brooke Pryor, Stan Everett, even Jamel Hill Dan Patrick, all come out and pretty much berate this woman like she was unprofessional and this isn't the setting for this, and this was a nice sentiment, but why would we only get these many seconds to do this? Like she was just wasting everybody's time by doing this. Like you would have thought that this woman did a whole speech to Liam Cohn. Like she took 45 seconds, if that, to tell him keep his head up. You had a great season. You got a lot to look forward to. Just to pick his spirits up, because she even said it on another publication. A shout out to this lady, man. She stands on business for real.
Yes, she do.
When the one, I think his name was Matt Long, he was the one talking about, oh, she's unprofessional and all this stuff, and she was like, I ain't stunting him. Like, I've been in this business for 25 years, man. I've been doing this forever. I've interviewed everybody from Barack Obama to Tiger Woods to Terry Bradshaw. So she's been in the game for a long time. So her credentials speak for herself. You know what I'm saying? And I just found it crazy that all these people, all these media members were just coming out against her. Like she just did something so egregious. Like, okay, maybe that's not the setting for it, but who cares? Like, why is that a problem? Like, that's her time. They called her name. It's her time. If she wanted to, because it's for questions and statements. She made a statement to Liam Cohn. She did what she felt. And then she moved on. It wasn't like she tried to hold him for a long time and give him super flowers and just take up everybody's time. You still could have asked your little stupid question, because most of the times in these pressers, some of these journalists ask rhetorical dumb questions to coaches and players and stuff. That one journalist says one question and the other journalist asks the same damn question and try to say it a different way. And it's just like, I think sometimes, and this is no disrespect to you, Ed, because I do take y'all profession serious. I get it. We need y'all. We need y'all for information. We need y'all because y'all are close to the team. You have more access than any of us fans. You know what I'm saying? Me and Mark just a podcast. We just do a podcast. We ain't got no access. We ain't got no sources that we can get, information from. That's what y'all do. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Speak it into existence, for sure. But we're not credentialed media members, so I get it. You know what I'm saying? We do need y'all, but I just think some of these guys take their stuff. They just took this a little bit too serious for me. It was just a nice soliloquy from a nice lady who was trying to, big up the head coach and keep his spirits up. So I brought you on because you're a media member. You've been in these rooms before. You've asked these questions. What are your thoughts on the whole situation?
Well, the first thing I thought about, because I saw the same reposting from Adam Schefter as everyone else, because that's where this originated from.
Mm-hmm.
And I start from there because I think Adam Schefter, when he reposted it, he did it with the best of intentions, because it was a sweet message that she sent. And I don't think even he expected the backlash from other reporters and it going viral the way it did. Because realistically, stuff happens more than most people, talk about. It's just that this was amplified.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously it's a playoff game, so more eyes are looking at it. But I've seen stuff like this in press conferences and just let me just step back for a minute. As a journalist, when you're in there as a reporter, your job is to not be biased. Your job is to ask the questions that everyone basically want to know from the game.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously the situation where this is a team that's eliminated, you want to ask questions about what's next. Like, I saw a lot of people say, oh, they're going to ask the same annoying question about what's next or what happened on this play. Well, that is the question to ask because
Right.
you want to know what's next. You want to know what happened on this play. A lot of times in post-game press conferences, there isn't that much time to get questions out because the coaches don't stick around that long.
Mm-hmm.
You might get 5 minutes sometimes. You might get 6 minutes. I don't know if people have seen Andy Reid's post-game press conferences. They're not long. He does a lot more longer press conferences on the next day.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's for a reason. It's the end of a game, whether it's win or lose. You're basically saying what happened in that game.
Right.
That's the main thing people are focused on. But back to that situation, I don't believe it's a big deal if it's not amplified by the fact that Adam Schefter said this was a warm moment, which it was a warm moment. Like I said, I feel like he meant it in the best ways of promoting this for the game because it's good for the game as well to show that there is a relationship between the reporters and the coaches.
Mm-hmm.
The rule of thumb in journalism, especially with reporters, your job is to ask questions, get answers for, obviously for articles, for a lot of people just go straight to Twitter with it, with whatever responses they get, and they build stories from there. So there is a moment, like even I saw, and I was like, okay, that's a little different. The fact that it was amplified, because like I said, I've seen this in press conferences where somebody might say, hey, you guys, you played a great game or this and that. Like I've seen that where they congratulate the coach. It happens a lot. And then the question follows after. I think what made it different is that there was no question after. This was just what she wanted to say.
Mm-hmm.
So it rubbed people the wrong way on that part. Also, another thing that I feel like people forget, and I'm happy you brought this up, she works within the Black press. A lot of times when you talk about community journalism and you talk about stuff that have to do, like obviously with culture and things of that nature, that's not necessarily the game. There's room in those rooms for different types of journalists.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have a room where it's going to be people that just cover the sport, cover the team like I do.
Mm-hmm.
There's sometimes somebody from like a People magazine that's covering the actual event. They're covering the pop culture part of it, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
Have the community journalist like she is, and she's been covering this team all year. They have a different intimate connection with the team. They're looking at the team as to what they are in the community and how much they matter.
Yeah.
So her question, her way of communicating is going to be a lot different than what I would ask.
Yeah.
I don't think you should be knocked down for that because that happens in every press room. It happens in every press room. They're going to be people that are looking for different stories. So when you see questions, and I think you just said, sometimes you hear a guy ask a question, then he'll ask another guy will ask the same question. That's done because the answer wasn't enough.
Yeah.
So there's a polite way of saying, hey, I'm going to ask the question, but in a different way. But I'm also going to lead you because I want to get this answer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's why that's done. And I know sometimes you see players go off, and those are the ones that go viral. They'll be like, I don't want to answer that question, blah, blah, blah. We have to ask those questions. We have to take those hits no matter what.
Right.
It sounds like I'm playing it down the middle, but it's just me.
No. I get it. That's why I brought you on, because you're a little you understand that world better than us. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We're not in those rooms like that. We're not journalists. We're not. You know what I'm saying? So I'm always gonna respect you and hear what you got to say because you're in those rooms. We're not. So that's why ultimately I wanted to bring you on to ask you about this question, because it's like, Ed's been in those rooms. He knows, you know what I'm saying? From our perspective, it's just like, I just felt like it was like, why is this such a big deal to where it's like people are just like, oh, this lady just wasted our time. Like,
that's what I want to add to, because, like I said, she didn't do anything necessarily wrong. It just wasn't, quote unquote, by the book fully.
Yeah.
She knew what she was doing. Liam Cohen, he knows her. He's seen her every week.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to keep that in perspective. For us, like a lot of people that do national media, this is their first time seeing this kind of interaction.
Yeah.
She could have been doing this all season, and they could have been having a regular conversation. But because everything is now amplified because it's the playoffs, and it was reposted on social media, people look at it from a different scope. So I think it's one of those situations where you have to understand the context. You have to understand from where she's coming from, and just that relationship. Because it doesn't stop anybody else from asking their questions. I think this was something that they probably, if you look back, I think a lot of teams post their press conferences all year. You probably look back, you could hear some of her questions or probably some of the dialogue back and forth and say, okay, this is something they've been doing all year.
All season, yeah.
Conversation that they built, it's a relationship they built, which is the most important part of a community publication, is to have that access to be able to talk to a coach, talk to a player. It has nothing to do with stats and nothing to do with who won or lost the game. It's how you're affecting the community. So to me, she just did the job, but it just wasn't a traditional way because it wasn't covered the way that we're used to doing it, either as national media or just sports-based journalists.
And I also don't, and I'll let you get in on this more too, but I also don't think it would have been as big of a deal had those media members didn't say anything.
At that point,
like if they had just left it where it was at, like, okay, you may have disagreed with it, and I get it. You want to voice your opinion. This is X. This is whatever people want to voice. They feel like they need to be heard. But I just don't think it was a big of a deal for the people to just have outrage, and then you just made this thing bigger. If anything, you gave this woman a bigger platform.
So it did. That's the thing I loved about it. And she also, during this whole process, she was bigging up all the Black publications. I thought she used it as a great way of promoting it because it sometimes gets overlooked in those rooms.
Yeah.
But what I will say, and the reason why I feel like it was attacked, not attacked, but it was questioned the way it was by so many senior media members who are very well accomplished, and I understand where they're coming from, is because over the last decade, we've seen so many people from like influencers to people that just want to come in there and make jokes in the press room.
Yeah.
Taking up the time, because that's been something that's grown over the last decade, I would say. So that there are good journalists that are not getting credentialed, and they're credentialing the guy that has millions of followers because he's going to post on his, you know what I'm saying? So it's been that balance. So there's a level of frustration because it's almost like you're making a joke out of the craft. Obviously, that's not what she was doing, but that was the initial reaction for a veteran journalist that was like, okay, what are we doing here? Yeah. Without them knowing the context. Because that's what I believe. If they would have understood the context of what was going on, because they only showed that one clip. But if they would have understood the whole context of everything, then I don't think they would have jumped on it the way they did. So I think that was just, it was a mixture of frustration from how the field has been treated over the last decade, whether you talk about from the White House to anywhere else where people kind of just dump down journalism and it don't get the respect it deserves. So, and I feel that sometimes too, where you're in these rooms, there's people there that are not necessarily journalists, but they're there because of their social influence.
Oh, yeah. And she even said it herself before she came on. She was like, I wasn't even going to go in the press conference at first. She was going to leave. And then she said she was talking to a young person, trying to encourage that person. And I guess that person was like, you should go in there and, talk, you say, whatever. And I guess that's when she saw Liam Cohen. She said when he walked in, she could tell that he had been crying. Like his eyes were sunken, and you tell he was like distraught. And so she just felt it in her spirit to be like, hey, let me just uplift him. I'm not gonna sit up here and beat him down. I'll let all them do that. You know what I'm saying? I'll just come in, pick up his spirits. And you could tell it did kind of lift his spirits up because you could tell his eyes, his face lightened up. He had a smile on his face. So
she understood the assignment.
She did. And sometimes you just got to move in your instincts, even if the people around you may not understand it or they may not agree with it. Sometimes you got to move, man. So, Mar, go ahead and give your opinion on this, bro.
Well, so Ed, and you know, obviously you're the expert. I get a sense like in those rooms is almost like a Major League Baseball. You got a book of unwritten rules, but like correct me if I'm wrong about that. I kind of get that sense like there's like certain, I guess, code of ethics that you're supposed to have in that occupation. Am I wrong?
Yes, there's a heavy code of ethics because the number one thing is if you're reporting something and you identify as a reporter, as a journalist, your job is to seek the truth. That's the number one thing. Your job is to seek the truth. The story should not be about you. It should be about what you're covering. And that's something that, you know, has been beaten to our heads from whenever journalism class that we've ever attended is you have to make the story the story. You're not making it about you. It's not about your personal feelings. You got to take all of that out of it. You have to, you're basically a person there to help the audience understand what's going on, whether it's hard news, whether it's sports, no matter what it is, that is your job. So that's where there's like a defense of journalism in regards to what we do, because so many people have this confusion. They think a lot of what they see on TV with its commentators yelling back and forth, that's journalism, when that's not the case. Those are commentators. They're doing their job, but they're also not identifying as journalists. And that's what I think a lot of people forget. Like the way, you know, obviously you guys invited me, you know, I'm thankful to come on the show. My job is to come on as a journalist. So like a lot of my answers are not going to be, you know, like I know this, I do this, I know that. It's going to be based off of something that happened already. Because like I said, we're scribes. We're writing the history. We're you know, we're not making the history up. We're writing what's happening. So I can only base it off stuff that I've covered, stuff that I've seen. I'm not an expert in terms of me playing. I'm not speaking on that nature. That's what the commentators do. That's what the former players do. That's what you have, and you have people like a Stephen A. Smith that is often criticized because he is a full-on media personality. He evolved from being a journalist to a media personality where people tune in to hear what he thinks. He's made that clear. He's been very honest about that. He said, I'm no longer a journalist like I was back in the day. I'm a media personality where people are coming to me for my opinion. So he always makes that, you know, that difference there. And a lot of people kind of want to, you know, put him back into when he was a journalist just covering the NBA.
Right.
So there's confusion because it isn't explained. It's not explained well. And the general public, you know, they want to understand it, but at the same time, they get frustrated by it because social media is free. You know, everyone can have a platform. Anybody can say, hey, because I have a platform, because I have 1 million followers, because I have this, then what I say matters. Then that means I'm a journalist. Some people like to lie and say they are journalists.
Yeah.
So the real journalists that, you know, were upset and made their opinions known, they were defending the craft. I don't think really they were attacking her. They were just defending the craft because stuff like that, as hard, you know, as beautiful as it was, because what she did was really beautiful. The fear is that people are going to take it the wrong way and think that this is what journalism is. So that's what I think. It was really more defending that.
Okay.
I'm glad you broke it down to it like that, because I didn't, even when you brought up the point of, you know, certain NFL franchises giving credentials to just, you know, content creators. And, you know, that's what I identify and what me and Chris do is just we just create content about a certain subject. Because I will never disrespect journalists because I'm not that. I didn't go to school for it. I don't have a degree for it. So I would never disrespect that craft. So man, that makes a lot of sense now. But yeah, man, that makes a lot of sense. Appreciate that, Ed.
Yeah, for sure, Ed, man. Definitely appreciate your perspective, man.
We appreciate you because you at least understand that. And some people that are content creators, like I said, they will not understand that. And that, to me, that's always been the real war. It's not this. The real war has always been between what's media, social media, content creators, and then you got traditional media, or like they call us legacy media. So that's where the real battle has always been.
Yeah. And I think that also the discourse is that when she did what she did, they assumed that she was a fake media personality, and then that's when she like, nah, man, I've been in this for 25 years. I'm interviewed this person and that person and this person, so you can't question my credentials. Like she ran it down on them. So I just think that's where a lot of the discourse. Like I think if she was a known media, and she's probably known. Like people probably know who Lynn Jones is, but they probably didn't know who she was. And if they had known, oh, that's Lynn. Oh, okay, we get Lynn. You know what I'm saying? So, all right, fellas. You know what? We're gonna pivot because we've been on here for a while. We're gonna skip to the Chief stuff. Ed.
Yes.
So the Chief season didn't go quite like we thought it was gonna go. You know, we thought that the Chiefs was gonna come back, bringing back the offense, even though Rashee Rice is gonna be out for 6 games. Second year Xavier Worthy, Travis Kelce's coming back more in shape, and he looks like he's more refined and refreshed. We're gonna take the step forward. The defense is gonna, be solid still, probably not, top 10, whatever, but still a pretty solid defense. Add some of these rookies to this team, and some second gear guys, get some more playing time. And we were thinking like, okay, we got a chance to get this thing right and get back to the Super Bowl. Well, it didn't go that way. It started off crazy coming out of Brazil. That Brazil game, it was odd. It was weird. It was the way the team just looked like they didn't practice the whole week. And it just showed like Chargers was just more ready for this game than the Chiefs. And even still, with that being said, were Chris Jones not trying to go inside if he just contains on the outside of getting Patrick Mahomes the ball back and possibly winning that game still? And then you get to the second game, the Eagles game, and we're in that game. We finally get a drive going. We're in the end zone, and Travis Kelce bobbles the ball and it's intercepted, and that pretty much sealed the deal for the game. Then you kind of get back on track with the Giants. It took a whole half, but they finally got something going in that second half, and you're like, okay, you could build on that. Then you had the Raiders game where they look, unstoppable, and everybody's like, yeah, we're back, baby. We're back. But then, and even the Washington game, it took a quarter to get on track. But then we hit the Buffalo game. And the Buffalo game was just another head scratcher. And it was just like the way the offense was played and the Spags running his defense. It was just like, they just looked like they were just only using this. We're just going to do this, and we're going to stick to this, and we're not going to make any adjustments. We're not going to make any changes. It's just we're going to win this way, and if we don't win this way, oh well, we always lose to Buffalo in the regular season. Then they, everybody's thinking, all right, it's the bye week. We're going to come out. We got to face, who we got. We come out the bye week. We're going to be good. Well, they weren't. They went to Denver. And some of the same problems. It was just, undisciplined football. Well, let me go back. The Jacksonville game, the Monday night Jacksonville game.
That's the one. To me, that was a 100-point game.
The Jacksonville game where special teams was terrible. Harrison Buckner was not good in that game. Pat, the interception in the end zone where, that was kind of a backbreaker right there. The Trevor Lawrence trips on his own foot, gets up, has more time to get up, run in the end zone and win the game, where Chris Jones is standing there just looking at him, which wasn't good optics. But then, fast forward, coming out the bye week, you're thinking, all right, we beat Denver. We got a chance. You know what I'm saying? We can still win this division. We can still make the playoffs. And like I said, some of the same stuff. Even Patrick, after the bye, he's throwing weird interceptions, and the offense just can't get going. Then you had the Indianapolis Colts game where it was looking shaky for like 3 quarters, and then the fourth quarter came and the offense finally woke up and going into overtime. They finally win that game. you're thinking, all right, everything's good. Then Thanksgiving game against Dallas, it starts off good, but then the defense, the corners, Trent McDuffie's probably worst game, Jalen Watson's worst game. It was just like they were just getting ate up, you know what I'm saying? And they could just never get the ball back to Patrick Mahomes. There was a key drop in that game from Rashee Rice. It was that started becoming a trend of him dropping passes. Then you had the Texans game. You know, the defense is playing really well, and Andy Reid had the decision of going for it on fourth down on our side of the football. And yes, if Rashee Rice catches that ball, we might not even be talking about it, but it doesn't work, and that ultimately lost us the game.
Oh my goodness.
And then you go into the Chargers game, and pretty much our playoff hopes are in the balance right here. And Patrick Mahomes looks like he possibly is about to march down the field and win the game for us and keep our playoff hopes alive. And then he tears his ACL. And that was just all she wrote. It was all she wrote for the season. And we saw how this team looked without Patrick Mahomes behind him. The offense looked disarrayed. The defense was okay. They were solid, but offensively, we were just bad. It was just not good. And we've seen how much Patrick Mahomes has covered up on this team. But I just want to get your thoughts overall on the season from your viewpoint.
Well, it's one of those things where you look at how this team just didn't respond late in games like they did last year. Last year, they won so many 1-4 games that you forget that a lot of those games could have gone either way as well.
Yeah.
So I look at it like the football gods were like, okay, let's see how things go the other way. Because a lot of stuff that went wrong, it wasn't that the team was better than them that they were playing against. It was a lot of self-inflicted stuff.
Facts.
We talked about the 2 Chris Jones situations, or 3 if you want to talk about that Christmas Day game with the offsides.
Oh, my
God. A lot of it discipline, a lot of it just execution, stuff that they've done so many times during the Super Bowl runs, where it was shocking for everybody that was just covering it, and me in particular, just looking at simple things that they had done so much from veteran players. It wasn't even the young players. You know how in the past you could say, "Oh, Kadarius Toney was offsides," but no one else would do that. You were seeing mistakes from Kelsey with drop passes that were deflected and it became interceptions. You were seeing Rashee Rice, and that's a whole other thing of stuff that he was having to deal with coming in. Obviously, from the suspension, he played well, but there were moments where he needed to make a big play, and he, drops. Issues with on routes. Xavier Worthy, ever since that injury, was just never the same. Let's just be honest. He played. He played injured.
He did.
But that injury, he was never the same. He
wasn't.
He couldn't stay healthy really out there. Hollywood Brown, in my opinion, I feel like Hollywood Brown was so underutilized. Outside of that game against, I think, Washington and against Detroit, where he was a main target, I don't know if they just decided we're not going to go to him because we got Rashee Rice here, but I just looked at that situation and said, well, he was playing well, especially during that 2 to 3 week stretch. They just stopped going to him. Those are little things that you would see, like, why is an adjustment being made here?
Yeah.
Is that on the offensive coordinator? Is that on Andy Reid? That's where you have to ask those questions. Going for it on fourth down multiple times during that Texans game when you had no momentum. Usually you do that when you have some type of momentum going, where you're going to say, okay, we'll just keep the team out there and, we'll see what happens. He was just kind of like winging it at some point.
Yeah.
I think everyone noticed that. So I'm not going to stick to just one game. Like, that's why I'm kind of bouncing around. The line injuries, Trey Smith, that injury was big. Jawan Taylor never really being healthy. That was also a big part on right tackle. And then Josh Simmons. And Josh Simmons was playing extremely well before he had the personal issues that came up.
Mm-hmm.
I only let you know. We're not going to know the details of that, but it had to be something pretty significant for him because he was playing extremely well. And then he had this injury that ended his season. Kingsley, for the most part, played well for his first year at guard.
He did.
If you want to talk about a positive, I thought Kingsley he played every game, started all 17 games at guard. Yes, he had penalties here and there, but for a guy to make that change and really be a stabilizing force on the left side, I think that was important. It was just depth behind them. Jalen Moore, I think I put him in the category of the guys that Kyle Shanahan got paid.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kyle Shanahan got him paid. And he was good, don't get me wrong, but he wasn't starter material at times.
Yeah.
And I think Andy Reid and them knew that in training camp, and they kind of said, he's going to be that first guy off the bench no matter what, whether it's guard or tackle. Jalen Moore's going to be that first guy off the bench.
Yeah.
So that's what I think they kind of had him as like the sixth man, if you want to put that in perspective.
Yeah.
It was just a lot of bad luck. The YDA Morris injury was wild. First play for him to go down like that. Issa Pole, and I know I'm sticking to the offensive line, but it was just so much there. Issa Pole was a good surprise.
I liked Issa Pole. We liked him in training camp. It was like, we need to keep this dude. And then when they let him go, it was like, but when we got him back, I was like, hey, okay. And then when we saw him on the field, it was like, we might got something right here. Maybe we can, put him on the right side, if we don't bring back Javon Taylor. So
definitely a lot of potential there. So it's something that they can really work with. Taylor, I think, is gone. I don't think.
Unless he takes a massive pay cut. Yeah.
I think Jalen Moore, they were kind of grooming him to be the new tackle, right tackle. So I think that'll be next year. Yeah. That's going to be the situation for him. But defensively, I thought the team was solid. Chris Jones wasn't the Chris Jones of old, but the funny part about it, Chris Jones having a down year is still better than most defensive tackles around the league.
Facts.
Something to really think about.
Yeah.
I didn't get this. I saw special teams. I'm going to get to special teams because I feel like that might have been the biggest drop off this season was special teams.
Chris been on it all season. He's been on it all season.
I'm going to get there. But defensively, like I said, I thought some guys stepped up. I thought Brian Cook played well.
Yeah.
He had his opportunities. He played well out there. At corner, Trent McDuffie was still Trent McDuffie, but, the injury kind of slowed him up. Jalen Watson played well. You're not going to be.
He's going to get paid. He's going to get paid.
I thought Chris Roland Wallace took a step forward, and he could possibly be in contention for a starting spot next year. I thought he was really good before his injury.
Mm-hmm.
So there was, like I said, there was a lot of good points. Nick Bolton was really good this year.
Mm-hmm.
There was stuff to be happy about. But I'm going to jump right into special teams because special teams was the biggest issue all season. The best part about special teams, I feel like, maybe James Winchester and the that's about it.
Matterizer.
I'll be honest with you, it was a disaster a lot of times.
It was.
Butker will start there. I don't know what happened to him. I don't know what happened to him. I'm not going to get into his personal life. I'm not getting into his political. I'm not getting into any of that.
No, I have a theory. I do have a theory with Buckner.
Okay.
I do think because he had to change the way he kicked. Yes. Because remember, he got hurt because of the way his kicking thing it fractured his foot. And I think that the way he kicks now, he's so self-conscious of that now. Like he's trying not to do that because he don't want to fracture his foot no more. So it's in his brain. So it messed up his kicking. That's just my theory on that.
That's a very good point because he went from being a guy that was automatic from even 50 plus, where even if the Chiefs get anywhere close, no matter what time, he's automatic. Yeah. So for him, it was such a weird fall from grace from a guy who's kicked in all these big moments, Super Bowls, all of this.
Yeah,
he's missing extra points on perfect snaps and everything, just missing them. So that was a shock. Coverage on special teams was terrible. Kick returns. And I heard you say Jack Hawk. I'm not putting it on one person. I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna do that.
Hey, don't mind, because he's been picking on Jack all season, bro.
Not gonna do that
all season.
for that Jacksonville game, he had a bad one, and he had a bad game that Jacksonville. I remember that. I
Just the Jacksonville game.
It was the Jacksonville game. I remember that was a bad. I know. That was a bad.
I hear you. No, I get it.
Kick return situation was not good at all.
It wasn't.
They tried different people out, and I like Remigio, but he was kind of non-existent.
He wasn't as good. The year prior, he was actually pretty solid at it. This year, he wasn't as good. I don't know what happened, but he just wasn't as fast. He wasn't getting the lanes that he was usually getting. It was just not good. I thought they should have just went on here and put Bashard. Using him on the offense, put him somewhere.
I thought about that, and then it was at one point where even Rashard Smith wasn't really doing much when they put him in there initially. They had Xavier Worthy out there for a couple of games.
Yeah.
It was to the point where I said, hey, McCole Hardman's available. You might as well bring him back. You might as well, because it just seemed like on punt returns and kick returns, there was no positives. There was just nothing coming from that. Mahomes had to start deep in his own territory so many different times.
All the time.
And yet he made it work. So I say special teams was the biggest problem. And then my second biggest problem, I know I'm going in a weird order, but running back.
Yeah.
Kareem Hunt, great short yardage back. It was a shame that he had to be the every down back, because that's not his role anymore. Let's be honest.
No, it's not.
Short yardage back. And having him as the every down back, you could tell it took a toll on him.
It did.
He was like, hey man, I didn't get this many carries in years since I was a Pro Bowler.
Every time he got up, it looked like it hurt.
Yeah. And Pacheco was, injury prone. And I know a lot of people are going to have some strong thoughts on Pacheco because it was a contract year. Will he be a guy that you look to come back because he's still young? He still knows the system. I think, and this is just my opinion. Once again, I don't want to get attacked here online, but
they ain't going to attack you, man. You good, bro.
I feel like he's a guy, he's a short yardage back in reality that they tried to make it to an every down back. I thought he was playing out of position when it comes to that. And it kind of leads into, and I know you're going to talk about the draft, they have to get a running back in the draft. They have to get Jeremiah Love in the draft. I know some people feel different ways, but you need a running back, man.
I agree. No, we agree. We agree over here.
You cannot play this by committee. Pacheco doing the best he can because he's getting injured because of the way he runs, his running style. Kareem Hunt, he's up there in age, man. You need a guy that's a game-breaking running back.
Need a dog, and we need a dog.
Because you see a lot of teams now, the better teams are having a good running game.
James Cook.
And that's what's
Travis Etienne.
The Bills be without James Cook.
They'd be at the bottom of the barrel.
So it's an example of that. You got to go for it. I don't know if you guys are in this whole rule of not drafting a running back in the first round.
I mean,
you kind of need it.
Clyde kind of messed it up for me a little bit, but I'm willing to get past it because of the fact we even had a discussion a couple of weeks ago, Ed. I'm just of the mindset that if I want to make sure that Patrick Mahomes hosts up another trophy and extend his career, make it fun for him, make it easier for him, is give me a dog back there that can take the pressure off my guy. That's all I'm saying. A running game and a defense has always been a quarterback's best friend. I don't care what century they've been playing football. Give me a running game and a defense, and I can work with you, dog. So I'm just of the simplistic thinking, like, hey man, if we want to maximize on 15 and keep him here and keep him happy.
The Chiefs haven't had a running back since Jamal Charles, realistically.
For real, yeah.
And that's something to think about.
I mean, I think Kareem Hunt was.
Yeah,
he got kicked off the team at that time.
Yes, but Jamal Charles was the featured back.
Oh yeah, he was the guy.
You were going to have to deal with Jamal Charles.
Yeah, Charles is a quarterback when they good.
That's another thing. So you gotta look at
Alex Smith was good. Alex Smith was good.
Alex Smith was a good quarterback. I'm not going to knock Alex Smith. I thought he was
Alex Smith was good, but before that, Matt Castle was not good.
Yeah. Then you go back into the.
Hey, they gave.
Names. We could throw some names out there if you want to talk about history of quarterbacks.
Well, they gave Jamal Charles almost quarterback, dog, before Alex Smith.
Yeah, they gave him some bad quarterbacks. Here's my thing, Ed. I'm with you. Look, on the defensive side, me and Mar have talked about this. They gotta get a dog on that pass rush, on that defensive line. You can't just be Chris Jones. Like, Chris Jones is getting older, and you saw it this season. Like, George did not take a big step this year. He kind of took a step back, and we need somebody else because Chris isn't getting, like I said, he's not getting any younger, and he might not even be on this team in a couple of years. So you're going to need somebody to pass the torch to.
I think I think Omar is a good guy. Omar Norman Lott. He got injured, and he's been playing injured.
Yeah,
so
I have a theory on that too.
He was playing with a shoulder injury to start the season. His first game, he got a sack. By the time he was starting to get a rhythm, he tore his ACL.
That hurt. Yeah.
So I look at it, what they were trying to do with that defensive line. They wanted him to be a guy where they could kind of put him and Chris, on a third down together to be on that pass rush. You never really got that chance, and because of that, they had to bring back Mike Pennell. They had to. Get Derek Nottie back.
That was another head scratcher. Like, you cut Purnell to go trade for Derek Nottie, which shout out to Derek Nottie, man. But your PFF, and now look, I'm not the big PFF guy, but it was kind of crazy seeing on Sunday Night Football. You're the worst PFF grade on defensive line.
They brought him back for familiarity because he knows the Spagnuolo.
That's Purnell, and Purnell's better than him. Like, I didn't understand that. I did not get it.
It was a panic move. It's like, hey, I got a guy. We could just plug and play. It was a plug and play move. That's really what it was.
I guess, but the whole Omar Norman Lott thing, I didn't agree with them trying to put all this weight on him. Like, I think that led to him getting hurt because he had an ankle injury, he had the shoulder injury. I think them trying to bulk him up was the wrong move. What made him great was his first step. Even in limited snaps, he was the lead. He was the top defensive lineman, interior lineman in the country.
Yeah,
at Tennessee because of his first step. And you taking that away from him, putting 10, 15 pounds on him, his body's not going to agree with him. You're taking this special move away from him.
I agree to an extent, but I also think they do this with all the young players.
They do because they want them to be able to stop the run and all that. I know
that happens a lot.
Spags wants them to be able to stop the run and all that stuff. And I get all that. It's just like, you ain't had to put that much weight on it, man. Like, and I think it led to some of those injuries right there. But like, I like Ashton Gelati. I think he shows some stuff. I do, but I still think that they gotta go with defensive. Like, if Ruben Bain, David Bailey is sitting there at 9, I'm sorry, it's hard to pass those guys. You don't get those premium pass rushers like that.
You don't want a top tier running back?
I think they're gonna. I'm gonna be honest with you, Ed. Get your Breece Hall jersey ready. Get your Breece Hall jersey ready. They tried to trade for him. Well, I think they're gonna go all in.
Third round pick. If they would have traded the third round pick, they would have had Breece Hall.
Yeah, they would have. Well, now they could just give him a couple dollars here. Here you go. You be our starting running back. You're only 24 years old. Come on up in here. We'll give you a 3-year deal. We'll give you a nice little 3-year deal. You come up in here. You still be young by the time you leave.
But then you got to sacrifice one of your defensive backs in order to get him.
And that's my other point.
You want to talk about Trent McDuffie? You traded Trent McDuffie? Is that what you're saying?
They might have to. They only got 6 picks.
Mm.
They only got 6 picks this year, and they got to make those picks count.
Trent at least worth a second, baby. Come on.
I love Trent McDuffie. I think he's great.
They got a first round for Sauce. They got first rounders for Sauce.
2 first rounds.
2 first. That's what I'm saying. They got first rounders for Sauce.
I think you can get a first for
All Pro with McDuffie.
I hear you.
Get a first.
Argument for me, Ed. Trust me, I would like the value to be high for McDuffie for what we get back for him.
I think you could call. I think you could talk to Tampa Bay. I think you could talk to Dallas. I think you could talk to Detroit.
Yeah,
because they need all three of them need cornerback, and I think that Trent McDuffie is better than whatever's coming out in this draft at their picks.
I agree.
So you know what I'm saying.
But as a Chiefs fan, as you guys Chiefs fans, would you want to part with an All-Pro corner when healthy?
No, I wouldn't.
Oh no,
but as far as business goes, and Veach is very good.
Those are not easy to find.
Veach is very good. Veach is very good at getting good DBs in that room. Noah Williams looks like he's a star. Look, Bleacher Report just came out with their redraft. They have Noah Williams in the first round.
Yeah.
So that lets you know. Veach, you did it again.
I know, I get it, but it's a tough move to say, hey, I got a
it is. It's shrewd. It's tough.
Hey, but All-Pro again this year if he didn't get hurt.
And you're absolutely right, Ed. But here's the thing that me and C have always been on when it comes to this Trent McDuffie thing. When he got the injury, the defense was still playing pretty well in the secondary, and I'm like, okay.
Christian Fulton started looking like, all right.
I was like, okay, and he's
the guy we was looking for. Okay,
so like if the guys weren't performing and looking like Dookie, I'm like, hey, y'all might want to consider just go ahead and paying Trent. But the fact that they were looking competent and we seen Veach, always find the diamond in the rough somehow or some way late in the draft. We got Legarius, fourth or fifth round. So
Jalen Watson's a 7th round pick.
Yeah,
he's about to get paid.
Yeah, he's about to get paid, and you just look at the fact that we don't have a history of paying the corners around here. So I'm kind of like,
I get it, but I'm a believer in when you have a guy in Trent McDuffie checks the boxes for everything you need in a defensive leader.
We might need a number one. You're right about that, Mark, because we're gonna see what's up with this now. The whole Rashee Rice thing that just popped up, you know what I'm saying? It's an interesting one because the young lady his baby mom, she deleted the whole thing, so I don't know what that means, but the optics still look bad for Rashee Rice. You know what I'm saying? It's just like one of those things like, here we go, another thing, off-season thing that we got to have talking points about and people talking about. So now do we need to draft a wide receiver? If Jordan Tyson or Carnell Tate or even Mekhi Lemon is sitting there at 9, does Andy and them be like, well, we don't know if Rashee Rice is going to be here.
They still have Jalen Royals, and I know a lot of people are a little disappointed that he didn't see much action out there, but he dealt with injuries, and he also dealt with a stacked depth chart of veterans ahead of him. So if you're Andy Reid and you have a team that is trying to fight for a playoff spot, it's hard to bring in a guy that had to miss a couple of weeks to start the season because of an injury, and you already have like a Juju up there, Hollywood. I'm not sure if any of those guys are coming back. Mm. So you're going to see maybe Jalen Royals have a bigger role. That's my prediction. I think Jalen Royals has a bigger role. In terms of Rashee Rice and everything off the field, I have no comment because we can't assume anything here.
Yeah, most definitely.
It's fair to assume to all parties involved. It's not fair to assume.
Yeah, I agree. We don't know all the details, and like I said, hopefully, this is, if it's 100% true, he has to go. But if it's not, then I don't know, because those optics didn't look good. Those pictures did not look favorable. So, yeah, man, it just, like I said, I'm on board for a running back, but I don't know if they're going to take Jeremiah Love at 9. I think they want a defense. I think if a defensive lineman, Reuben Bain, David Bailey is sitting there, I just think you can't pass on that premium edge rusher. You just can't, and especially with Chris Jones getting older, and you can't keep continuously having your game plan, your defensive game plan being around your 32-year-old defensive tackle who's still really good. Yeah. He's still really good. He is, and I thought after the bye week, I thought Chris Jones was playing some of his best football, but still, it's just like he can't do it by himself, man. He getting double, triple team, and George, he's just over there like he can't beat his one-on-ones over there. And Charles Omenihu, he had a terrible season,
Charlie O, bro.
You gonna be signing another 1-year deal, sir, somewhere else.
The Raiders.
That was a big disappointment right there. So
Raiders.
you're gonna be somewhere else. But yeah, man, it was bad. AJ Brown going to be in the Chiefs uniform. I don't know about that one.
I don't know if they could have. That's a lot. You talk about money here. You got to pay these guys. And
yeah, I don't know about AJ Brown because the first time he get to complaining about Patrick not getting him the ball.
No, he's not going to be here.
Yeah, hey, Brett,
we're gonna show you not getting the ball.
I don't think AJ would even go that far to try to question Patrick.
Nah, he wouldn't. They would definitely. Andy would be like, "Yeah, yeah, you're gonna use him in everything." So, my other thing I do want to talk about is the Chiefs coaching changes. We all know that Matt Nagy is gone. He's up for head coaching jobs, and they even said if he doesn't get a head coaching job that he wants to be an OC somewhere else, calling the plays himself. I do want to play this clip real quick. Alex Smith was on Up and Adams this morning. He was talking about the OC job, so I'm gonna play this real quick.
Matt Nagy, coaching interviews.
I hope he gets another job. I hope he gets another job.
That's not what I don't want to know about him. Love him, respectfully. Your name. I'm hearing it. People are texting me. What would it take for you to put on that headset and take that on?
Oh, that my name's getting put out there.
Yes, Alex.
No, that would take a huge no way. No. It's so hard. My kids, I got 14, 12, 9.
14, 12, 9. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Like you take that job, like it's like see you in 5 years, you know? That's
so
hard.
0%. Oh, people are going to be so upset.
I love Matt. That's my guy. I love Matt, but no.
Do you think he stays there?
I've been hearing no.
I know. Who else would be great there? We love the Chiefs.
Oh, I wouldn't be shocked if they bring Kafka back.
Really? Kafka and Andy?
Yep.
How come?
You know, like Andy just rarely brings somebody outside of his circle back in, you know?
Should he?
So you should. I don't think it's a bad thing if he did bring out somebody without, but like I think in some ways Kafka fits that so perfectly, right? He just spent 4 or 5 years with Dayball, that system. I think, but obviously he knows this Chiefs system so well.
Yeah.
You know, I think he could bring in some outside ideas.
Chiefs fans want that, I think. They want an outside hire.
The hard part is, right, like, I know some people are, like, frustrated with the offense, certainly, and it's like, well, Nagy, but, like, listen, Andy's doing the offense, right? Like, we all know this. So, like, I mean, I think, and Andy knows it, right? So it's, like, a little bit of it's, when you're the offensive coordinator there, you only have so much input.
So, let's see the disappointment in people's faces. But we all know how Andy Reid operates. You know, he's into familiarity. Now, I will say this: a couple years back, before he got his head coaching job at Jacksonville, he did interview Liam Cohen to be on this staff. He did interview him. Right. And I do think that Andy does hear the rumblings. Now, look, I think Alex, he might be tapped in. He might know some stuff. He's close to the organization, so maybe he is hearing Mike Kafka. We're hearing Eric Bieniemy's name being floated around too, possibly coming back too. Me and Mara in the mindset of, you know, even if maybe not an OC, but still you bring in a young person in there, younger mind, offensive mind in here to possibly bring some new inventive ideas to this scheme. It's Andy's scheme, but obviously just give some ideas like, hey, Andy, why don't you add this to your scheme? Well, how about we do this? How about we do that? Just something inventive instead of just doing the same thing. Because I do feel like that the league has caught up to Andy's stuff. You know what I'm saying? I do think that when you're the best, and you're the standard of the league, everybody's going to study you. You know what I'm saying? And they're gonna pick apart some of the stuff. They're gonna use a lot of your stuff too. They're gonna incorporate it into your offense. So they practice again a lot. So what are your thoughts on the coaching? You know, we all know that Connor Embry, he's gone as wide receiver coach. We'll see if there's any other coaching changes. But what are your overall thoughts on the OC job for the Chiefs?
Well, I think it's obviously just going back to the whole Andy Reid philosophy. It is going to be somebody that's familiar. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Mike Kafka, if he doesn't get another head coaching gig or he doesn't get another corner that he wants to be somewhere else. I wouldn't be surprised if they go back to Kafka. I honestly also would not be surprised by Eric Bieniemy because he's been doing a great job as a running back coach for the Bears. And the biggest thing with Bieniemy is not about the X's and O's, not about calling plays. It's about discipline. And I feel like that's what the offense lacked was discipline. We talk about like silly penalties and formation issues, cleaning things up. That's what Bieniemy's strength has always been. I mean, you look at what he's done with the Bears and their running game. I think it shows that he has a value that a lot of people may not see as like a head coach or see as a traditional offensive coordinator because, like you say, he does not call the plays, but he holds players accountable. And I know this just from speaking to different players. I spoke with Jamal Charles the other day, and that was the first thing he said. They didn't have Eric Bieniemy. He said Eric Bieniemy held guys accountable no matter who you are. Whether you're Kelsey, Mahomes, he would get at you. You know, a lot of people didn't like the fact that he is very boisterous and he will, he's a grown man. He's going to yell at you. But he made sure you did what you were supposed to do. So basically, he was the bad cop. And he thrived in his role as the bad cop during those Super Bowl years. You saw less issues in terms of penalties and formations and people not knowing where they had to be. He was the policeman on that. So I think that's something to keep in mind. If players are now asking for, former players and current players have made mentions about it, I think there's something to be said. And another one, Dante Hall was another person that I spoke to. That's the first thing he said. I didn't even bring up Bieniemy, and that's the first thing he said. That's what they're missing.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting. I wouldn't be mad at the prospects of Bieniemy. I know a lot of people would be down on bringing back Bieniemy because he doesn't really call plays. But if he can bring back the structure of this team and get that offense right, to get that discipline, those offside penalties, false starts, and you know what I'm saying, the clean up some of the stuff with Mahomes. Sometimes he can get a little, throwing picks, at the wrong time, and his footwork sometimes be off. The downfield throws have been off these past 2 years. Just some of that, refining some of that. You know what I'm saying? Bring, even if they bring, a new QB coach in too, to help out Mahomes refine some of that stuff. So, but I wouldn't be mad at EB. Matt Kafka is interesting because he did run with Dayball, and he would bring some of those ideas over. He's been in another organization, so he'll have a little bit more outside, influence to bring to Andy. Hey, Andy, this is some of the stuff we ran in New York. This is some of the stuff that we did here. We can add that to this, you know what I'm saying? And I think Andy might be a little bit more receptive to Mike Kafka because he has a relationship with him. So that'll definitely be something to look into. So
I think it's either or. I say either Kafka or Bieniemy. If you're asking me, like if I had to choose one, I think either or would work perfectly fine.
Yeah. The EB retread is crazy to me, man.
We're not players. We don't know what they get from him.
No, that's fair. That's fair. And obviously, I think it's even numbers wise, you can make the case that it looks totally different under having EB on staff and when he doesn't. So I mean, look, I get it. I'm just saying for Eric Bieniemy's sake, I'm like, man, at some point, man, like, y'all gonna show me the love I deserve and stop making me like I'm only OC materials. That's all.
He ain't getting no haircut job. You can cut that out, Mark. That dream is over. It's dead. Sorry, sir.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about for his sake because
I'm just saying.
The only reason initially was to get a head coaching job when he left initially because he went to Washington to be the assistant head coach.
Mm-hmm.
That was a year there, and it was a disaster there, but.
Because I don't think Ron Rivera actually bought into that personally.
I mean,
I don't think he fully bought into Eric Bieniemy being the assistant head coach. I just think that it was like whatever. But we'll see, man. Hopefully they make some right coaching changes. I will say Eric Bieniemy will have this running game playing better. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
You can count on that.
That running game would definitely be on point. And we'll see who they bring in as wide receiver coach. Hopefully, I'm vying for maybe bringing in like a Jeremy Macklin, possibly, maybe. He can come in, be a wide receiver coach. I know he's been, telling people to tell Andy Collins, holla at him. So I wouldn't be mad at somebody like that. It's a real wide receiver and maybe a real running back coach, not how your wide receiver be your running back coach. So.
Yeah.
Hey, man, check these people's credentials for y'all hired in for a position, bro.
Yeah.
And if we're going with past wide receivers, might as well bring in Terrell Owens for a look, if we're going that far back.
Yeah, possibly, maybe. But yeah, man, it's definitely gonna be interesting to see what the Chiefs do this offseason, man. This is one of the biggest off seasons for Brett Veach going into the next season, to the new era, the next era of players and the next era of this Mahomes team. I think a lot of the old guys are gonna be kind of pushed to the back, and we're gonna get some new guys elevated to be the new stars with Patrick Mahomes, depending on how many more years he plays in the league. So it's going to be interesting to see how he bounces back from this ACL tear. I know he's working hard. He's chomping at the bit. You know what I'm saying?
Vibranium.
I think he's going to be back. I'm not going to predict anything, but I think he'll be back on time. Like he's going to be ready to go.
I think
Week
so.
one. He's going to be right there. Week 1.
So it's going to be interesting to see how he looks, man. I'm excited to see what this team could do now that we got, a premium draft pick, you know what I'm saying? And something that they could really work with. It's kind of hard to give, even though they've done really well, with the picks that they've had, you got a franchise left tackle at 32 with Joshua Simmons. Like, that's half the battle right there. You got your franchise left tackle, franchise quarterback. Your offensive line is pretty much set up until, you just got to figure out the right tackle. You know what I'm saying? You've already paid Creed. You've already paid Trey. Kingsley looks like he's going to be, he's just going to get better. So I think the offensive line will be fine. They just got to stay healthy. Got to get the running back situation figured out. Like Ed said, you definitely got to get there. You got to get more dynamic playmakers in that backfield. Somebody who can take it to the house, hit their head on the goalpost at any given time. Yeah. We need that because it'll take so much pressure off this offense. It really will. So, and then defensively, like I said, we need defensive line. We need a legit another pass rusher on the opposite side of George and on the opposite side of Chris. So we need another pass rusher for sure. So,
damn, Charlie, damn, bro.
Yeah, I know. Oh well. All right, Ed, man. Like always, man, it's a pleasure you coming on this show, man, giving your insight, man. We appreciate you, man, talking about, the playoffs with us, the Lynn Jones, situation, giving your perspective from a journalist perspective and your perspective on the Chiefs going into next season, man. We appreciate you, man. We definitely going to bring you back on, like, when free agency starts up and the draft is starting to get going or whatever, draft talk, we'll bring you in, get your perspectives on some players that you're, seeing and combine and stuff like that. So definitely bring it back on, brother.
Hey man, happy to be here as always, and just thankful. Obviously, we got a nice marathon today, so this is good stuff.
Yeah,
I really appreciate it.
If you got any columns or anything coming out?
Yeah, definitely. We have a series right now. Jamal Charles, like I said, I just did an interview with him. So
nice.
We got those articles going out. Deron Cherry. So for a lot of the throwback Chiefs fans, J.C. Pearson as well. And Dante Hall. And Tim Tebow video will be out this Thursday. So
nice.
So we got a lot going on, even though, like I said, no postseason. We still keep on working here at Chiefs Wire. So
For sure. All right, Ed, till next time, brother. You be good, man.
Appreciate you, Ed.
Take care. Thank you.
Yes.
Man. Damn, Chiefs. I can't take another season like this, though. Oh, boy. I tell you that.
Yeah. Yeah, they got to get it together. They definitely got to get it together.
Mm.
All right, good people. Hope you enjoyed the show today. When Ed comes on, he's always gonna, give us some good insight. Give it from his perspective because he's close to the team. You know what I'm saying? So he gets that side. He gives us all the good stuff. You know what I'm saying? And we're definitely gonna bring him back on. Like I said, probably like around March, April. Bring him in, get us ready for the draft and all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You got anything else, Mar?
Nah, man, that's it, man. I think we touched on all the necessary things. Talk some Chiefs, talk some other NFL things. The Lynn Jones situation, Mike Tomlin. Yeah, man, I think we covered all the basics. What needs to get talked about. So, man, hey, don't forget, if your quarterback already been eliminated or your quarterback got a chance to win it, better go get it this year because 15 had to come back, dog, with some vengeance, dog.
Hey, I got a message. Hey, hot take, Jake.
Hey, yo,
they dead this weekend. It's over. Josh Allen about to run all over y'all.
Hey, that's crazy, bro.
About to get smoked out here. Clip that.
I will say that. Them Broncos go one and done, bro. I don't want to hear nothing talking about our dynasty instead, bro.
And Eagles fans, you see, it's not as easy.
Hey, can't repeat. No,
it's not that easy, is it?
I'm still I'm still kind of upset that Sirianni still has one in his record books, but I'm just like, ugh.
It is, man.
Yeah.
Doug Peterson got one too. So I mean, what do you want?
I didn't mind Doug P. I actually didn't. I could withstand the Eagles when they was on the Doug P. I just can't stand Sirianni. He got a real punchable ass face, man. Like, and when he opens his mouth, you like, yeah, I want to knock the shit out of you, bro. Like,
yeah.
He got that real punchable face and personality, if you know what I'm talking about. So,
he does. I don't think he's a good head coach person. Whatever. Whatever.
Cry, Eagles, cry on the road to misery. Cry, Eagles, cry. Yeah, because y'all punk ass coach, man. I don't like it.
Shout out to some of my homies, man, that are Eagles fans, man. We left the seat open for y'all. There's beer in the refrigerator. There's food in the kitchen.
Come on, sit down next to us. we gonna tell y'all how it was like to build a dynasty and how y'all didn't do it.
Mar put some ribs on the grill.
Hey, no. Hey, man, I'm trying to let y'all know, man. Hey, man, see, this how y'all build a dynasty, man. See, this where y'all messed up right here.
Yeah.
Hey, see, when y'all did this when y'all messed up, man.
For real. But shout out to all the teams that's still in the playoffs, man. Hopefully we get some good games this weekend.
Yeah, I could take give me 3 out of 4. I'll take good games. All right, at least. All right, I'm talking about percentage wise. Give me 3 out of 4. We got 4 out of 6 last week. Give me 3 out of 4. All right, just give me one stinker, but don't let it be the last one though. All right,
don't let it be the Chicago and the Rams.
Nah, don't let it be that one. Hey, y'all got to make the call like Buffalo Wild Wings to the ref. Be like, hey, bro. Don't let it be the last one. All right.
Yeah, for sure. I'm watching y'all refs in that Buffalo game too, because I know y'all want Josh Allen in that. Never mind.
Hey, they about to get this man to the Super Bowl now.
That's why I picked him, man. That's why I picked him. It's over for Denver, man.
They about to get this man to the Super Bowl, man. This is crazy.
All right, man. Whatever streaming platform you use to listen to your podcast, we're available on Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio. go ahead and subscribe to us. If you're watching your first time watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, that like button, that notification button. So when we go live on Tuesdays at 5:30 Central Standard Time, you could jump in the lives like Mark did, talk about these topics. Give us your opinion, how you feel. Do you agree with our stance on some of the playoff games? Do you agree with the Lynn Jones situation? Do you agree with some of the stuff that we've been talking about with the Chiefs? But give us your opinion, man. Yeah, man, subscribe to the channel.
Yeah.
And whatever social media platform you use, whether it be X, Instagram, Twitch, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, whatever you use, we're available at AH Chief Podcast. You see it down there at the bottom. Go ahead and follow us. We'll follow you back because we not Hollywood over here. Joe, you are fired again.
We Hollywood though.
We are Hollywood though.
Yeah,
he's gonna slap.
We are that for sure. Wait. Why you always threatening violence on the people, man?
I'm just playing, man. You know, Chief Skinny, you know I love you, man. We ain't gonna slap you.
But for real though. Don't get out of pocket. That's all.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Don't get out of pocket.
Yeah.
Don't take our kindness for weaknesses. That's all I'm saying. You know? But no, if it's for real, we'll follow you back, man. If you have critiques or feedback, or if you have a question or topic that's Chiefs related or NFL related, and we like said question or topic, we will bring it up. We will shout you out because we want to show love to those who show love to us. So go ahead and hit us up via DM, emails, or our mentions. All right, Chiefs Kingdom, until next week, we will be back to talk about the divisional round. Possibly bring on a special guest, see some of the prospects. Maybe we'll bring somebody back whose team is in the AFC Championship game. I don't know. We'll see. But until next week, we are out.
Chiefs. Yeah, we still rocking. Go Chiefs. We ain't in the playoffs. We still rocking though.